So we can do what's Hondo on the mic. From Leo's Paradise, random stream drop like a Dragon Ball fight. No lie, plan stream stacking up, but here's a twist in time. Freestyling on the deck like Luffy's punchlines. Up the channels faceting, Zoro sword swings. Gaming pop culture, it's the chaos he brings. Talking movie reboots, superhero hype. Hondo passing the mic, now Bishop's in sight. Cutting flip screen, frame by frame, I align. Laying bass lines heavy, keep the rhythm divine. Jumping 5 videos, can't keep up with the pace. Pass the mic back, Leo's leading the chase. Off the rails, no script, just a freestyle ride. Nerdcore king, let the randomness collide. Playing a knob, Leo's got the flow to entice. It's words of paradise, the chaos comes to life. No script, just a freestyle ride. Nerdcore king, let the randomness collide. Planning on Leo's got the flow to entice. It's words of paradise, the chaos comes to life. The rails, no script, just a freestyle ride. Nerdcore king, let the randomness collide. Planning on Leo's got the flow to entice. It's words of paradise, the chaos comes to life.
Welcome back to the lunch hour. How are all you vital idols doing? That's right, we are hour early today. Because I'm lazy and kind of retarded. Yeah, no video today. Had a strikingly annoying morning at the DMV. Actually, you know what? It wasn't so bad. I had a strikingly annoying morning yesterday at the DMV. Today, it kind of went off without a hitch. But that being said, due to the nature of having to get to bed early, do all this stuff, and get up in the morning, didn't get time to make the video. We're doing the lunch hour. We're going an hour early because I also have errands to run around 3:30, well, around 4 p.m. So I'd be wrapped by 3:30. So, like, you know what? We start at noon. It gives us a nice, solid 3.5 hours. Let's lock in. Let's go. It's that lunch hour. I hope y'all got that protein. I got that green tea. Absolutely no sugar. And we have got plenty to talk about. Before we do, allow me to grift. Allow me to grift. For you see, I'm but a poor, humble boy with a dream. A dream that one day we will make more on a stream than the devs of High Guard, which you can contribute to. Let's make more than High Guard. That's today's goal, is just to simply make more than High Guard. So what is up, everybody? Let's get into it. Who all we got up in this bitch? I know there's already several of you here. I see Jackass G22s. Miss Molly is here. Matt Stanford. Eagle Lord, what is up, my man? We got Dax on our best mod in the whole damn land. Shout out. Gerrit Targaryen. Divina Duckworth is up in this bitch. St. Hugo is here. Shout out to St. Hugo. We got Nick Havoc in the building. Shiny Evolution Cosplay GC. That is an insane name. What's up? Xavier's in the house. Seabrew. Janice Landers. Shout out, Janice Landers. Sanguine Tales. Look at all. Oh, Charlie Zulu Oscar. Raw eggs, a slab of bacon. Pulled a different dude. There you go. Raw eggs and a slab of bacon. That's how you do it, son. That's how you do it. Yesterday was cheat day, man. Yesterday, I had my one cheat meal. Made myself just this gorgeous gourmet fried rice. And then of course, topped it with chicken, some teriyaki sauce, some sesame seeds. Check it out on the Instagram. It'd be looking nice. But yeah, no, we in it today. What up, Matthew Watson? My man with the chin. You're sober. Yeah. It's crazy. Do streams middle of the day, and folk come in looking sober. Jeremy Hughes review is here. Yo, shout out. Matt Stanford with a 10-banger. Here's to start. Take my first super chat in over a decade of YouTube account life.
Holy shit, I'm gonna come.
First super chat in a decade of YouTube account life. That's a fucking accomplishment. Me, of all people, me... Homie, you shouldn't have. I appreciate it. Exciting news, guys. Exciting news. The PC is just about finished. The new PC over there, technically it is finished. Technically it's entirely built. Windows is installed, the whole nine. I just had to spend today after the stream migrating everything over from the old PC to the new one, at extreme risk of fucking up my entire streaming setup. So possibly tomorrow, possibly by Neon Leon, we're going to have like the official brand new PC. Things will operate better. Things will run better. We did it, boys. Alrighty. That first super chat ever. First super chat ever. Do I have what sort of celebratory? Damn, I don't even have anything beyond the holy shit I'm gonna come that could be that level of celebratory. That is legendary. Everybody, I want y'all just to give mad props to Matt in the comments right there. His first super chat ever. Legend. Absolute legend. Saying Jason, for some reason my comment disappeared. All I said was like the stream. Dude, YouTube be like that, man. YouTube be like that. Make sure you've got live chat clicked and not top chat. Look, sometimes chats get deleted. But other times, if you switch to live chat, you will be able to see everything. What is up, Jamalama? Mad Hatter is here. Shout out to the Mad Hatter. Grave. I didn't mention Grave. What's up, Grave? Dude, look at that. All y'all up in this bitch early. All right, well, since you're all here, let's get in to the content proper, right? Y'all know how the lunch hour goes. We go pretty hard politics for the first half, then we palate cleanse with pop culture and gaming and stuff for the second half. And that's what we're going to do today. What is up, Jalozy? The left declares defeat in the culture war. Now, look, I don't like framing like this. I don't like framing like this. Now, maybe he's going to go into why we shouldn't be celebrating. Maybe they're saying this stuff, but we shouldn't be celebrating. I am not a fan of just saying, all right, we won, pack it up, let's go. Because that seeds the ground to these bad actors and morons to try and take control. This pendulum is swinging. It's swinging in the right direction. We don't want to go too far, but let's see what our boy Sargon got to say.
Good news, guys. The left have basically just declared defeat in the culture war. Total chud victory on every front, on every subject, on every aspect of what we were all fighting over that would be considered good or bad. Well, the right has been correct about all of that, and the left is basically just coming out and saying, yeah, okay, we were full of shit. I'm not even joking. This is
all right, so out the gate. Now, I've seen this full speech. Well, not the full speech, but I saw a much, much longer version of this speech from Hillary Clinton. I saw like a 5-6 minute version, something like that. That's not really what she says. Like, yes, she does admit that mass migration was a mistake. She also goes on to say that we need to be handling mass migration via humanitarian efforts, and that having, mass Gestapo just picking people off the streets is the wrong way to handle it. She says a bunch of ridiculous shit. The 19 seconds of clarity that this swamp hag has doesn't justify the rest of the clip.
Hillary Clinton talking about mass immigration.
I think we need to call it for what it is.
Secretary
There is
Clinton.
a legitimate reason to have a debate about things like migration. It went too far. It's been disruptive and destabilizing, and it needs to be fixed in a humane way with secure borders that don't torture and kill people.
I'll take.
There you go. And it needs to be fit with secure borders and torture and dehumanization. Yeah, if you watch the longer clip, she goes on to basically just say that every single way that we're currently handling mass migration, whether it be the Trump administration, the way they're handling the average populace, how they feel about it, is all bad, all wrong. Only the liberals, only the leftists, only they will be able to actually handle the border crisis, despite the fact that, we're only in this situation because of them. But whatever. 19-second soundbite makes it sound like she's semi-rational.
Take it. Complete and total chud victory on the immigration front. We've even got the children of immigrants being like, no, I'm going to be hardline anti-immigration in Britain. Here's Shabana Mahmood, the Muslim Home Secretary that we have, for whatever reason, being like, yeah, okay, we've had enough of immigration, we're going to do something about it. And unlike the Conservatives, they actually have done something about it. Like, I don't like Labour, obviously, but there is no denying that they got the net migration.
Me, on the other hand, I love Labor. I'm a huge fan of Labor. In fact, I think we've got a child shortage. I think we need to force women into labor to start popping out kids because we're low replacement rate.
Into the country down. Now, they got it down from about 1.5 million.
You Brits will really like that joke.
Gross to 850,000 gross. And then we have about 550,000 leave. Something like that. The numbers are all provisional estimates. So these will, and they're always revised upwards. But it is very likely that the gross number of people coming to the country came down. So even in Britain, we're like, yeah, okay, that's got to stop. And there's a reason for it. I mean, like, people are just sick of it. 68% of people is way too high. Way too high. Not happy about it. I mean, look at this. People coming to the UK.
But here's the funny thing. Here's the funny thing. The people in power, the Keir Starmers, right? The folk that actually control the shit, they don't give a fuck. You could have 100% of the people against mass migration, and Keir Starmer would be like, it's fine. Bring in more Muslims to get to groom the 9-year-old girls.
To apply for refugee status or asylum seekers, 43%, like much too high, 25% a little bit too high, and 18% think is about right, which is really weird. But the point is, it was a topic on which the left were never really going to win. Right? Everyone hates mass immigration. No one's in favor of it. Not even the immigrants are in favor of it. It's just the individuals who think they're benefiting financially from it who are okay with it, and leftists who are destructive parasites who hate our culture and are trying to destroy us are in favor of it. So, I mean, like 3% think, oh, it's a bit too low. Like,
agreed, Matt Hatter.
Just active fifth columnists. But anyway, let's go on to culture, right? Look at that headline. Go Woke, Go Broke. New study challenges claims. Progressive films flop at the box office.
Guys, I've been doing this whole YouTube thing for a few years now, talking about these sorts of movies. I've been consuming this sort of culture and content for far longer than I've been on YouTube. I was in the forums of the online trenches of Gamergate back in 2014. They can challenge that progressive films flop at the box office all they want. They most assuredly do. In fact, you know what? Let's break from this for a moment. I want to show you guys a trailer for an upcoming film. Mad shout out to my boy Stupinzo, who posted this in my Countercast group chat. I never would have known this even existed. Let's talk about progressive films at the box office, right? We're probably not gonna watch this whole trailer, by the way, but this is a movie coming out. Guys, this is fucking hilarious.
Have you ever suffered the injustice of being a person of color?
That is the first line within the first 4 seconds. Have you ever suffered the injustice of being a person of color? Let's go.
In this world. Have you ever had someone tell you how impressed they are, how well you speak English without an accent?
你为什么老是化这么浓的妆啊？
Speak English, Mom?
Correct answer. Good. Yeah, the daughter is correct. Speak English, Mom. You're in America. Speak motherfucking English. Correct.
Or are you just tired of the way white folks look at you? If you can't beat them, be them.
Alright, so we're gonna skip forward a little bit. Quick synopsis. This gal is bullied at school, and then, it's supposedly because she's a minority and whatnot, and she's got, like, a minority, brown best friend or whatever. Let's see, can we get it? What does it show her brown best friend? I'm sure it does a little bit later. So she goes to an ethnic race-changing plastic surgery company. It's boundary pushing.
To ethnic modification.
Ethnic modification, that's what it's called.
3, 2, 1. This is my favorite part. How are you feeling?
It's good to be white.
Her first words when she wakes up, it's good to be white. To be fair. Yeah, it is actually. Like, and that's her now. That's
To be
hold
white.
on. So Asian girl now, this is her. This is Asian girl after the ethnic surgery.
Hey, new girl.
Hey, come sit.
Only it's a horror movie, and the surgery is bad, and she starts falling apart and stuff. And it's probably supposed to tell you, like, how you should never change who you are, and this, that, and the other. This line, so while this trailer is hilariously awful, like, while it is so batshit terrible, there is a line that made me chuckle. Listen to this.
Do yourself a favor. Get tickets to a Michael Bublé concert. That experience as a white person will change your life.
That's good line. That's funny. Get tickets to a Michael Bublé concert as a white person. It'll change your life. That's pretty. Now, to be fair, this is a 2-minute and 46-second trailer. That's the only line that gave me a chuckle, but whatever. And it's in, guys, this isn't even a straight to streaming movie. This is coming out in theaters next month. So yeah, when they say that study challenges progressive films at the box office, I can assure you it does not.
Challenges them, and then hidden by the headline, burying the lead, then admits, this is a bit of a problem, right? So we'll skip down. They conclude that big budget blockbusters face considerable risks if they indulge in heavy-handed politics. Wow, when have their politics not been heavy-handed? Incurring a backlash if audiences feel political messages override story or character. Moreover, weakening well-established characters and narratives, as if they don't do that all the time, such as James Bond, carries what they describe as a massive financial risk. Rewriting legacy canon or characters is one of the strongest negative signals for commercial performance. Right, so if you go...
So... when are you going to apologize to the fandom menace? When are you going to apologize to the chuds? When are you going to apologize to every single individual who didn't like Disney Star Wars, or doesn't like what's happening with Warhammer 40k, or doesn't like what's happening with Dungeons & Dragons, or doesn't like what's happening with Spider-Man? I mean, I can go on. It would probably be easier to list the things that haven't changed at this point.
Go woke, you go broke. So I'm sorry, Guardian, you can try and hide it in the headline as much as you like, but in the actual body of the text, that's what you're saying. After analysing more than 10,000 films, they've concluded that there's no consistent pattern as to whether a progressive theme has harmed its box office. The problems...
I still don't even know what that movie is. They missed the fun. Now, to be fair, it's because I was skipping through the trailer. The trailer does a good job of letting you know what the movie is. Shit.
A link to execution. Right, okay.
Alright, now, this movie's fucking fantastic. Alright, this movie is great. This movie's called Rocket Man. It's like a psychedelic biopic, whatever you want to call it, about the life of Elton John. This movie is great. I don't like them using this like, oh, heavy-handed political messaging. That's not in the movie whatsoever. Watch Rocket Man. Really good movie.
Heavy-handed
especially if you're an Elton John fan.
Messaging, clumsy canon changes, or anachronistic dialogue reduce audience satisfaction and profitability. Right, so go woke, go broke. That's what that is. You concede. You absolutely conceded it right here. So we have won the culture war when it comes to Hollywood, which is why Hollywood's changing. And the thing is, they know. Rachel Zegler's career is basically over. She was insufferable. People were like, Snow White is meant to be a German princess? Or like Northwest European princess? I assume it's German. Why have you cast Rachel Zegler, who looks... I mean, if you're going to place her as a European...
Nick Evans says Rocket Man's a fun karaoke song. Here's the dealio, dude. I would never even dare do Rocket Man at karaoke. It's a banger song. I love it. But you need some pretty goddamn good vocal range. If I'm going to go Elton John at karaoke, I'm doing Crocodile Rock. That doesn't take near as much vocal range.
In Spanish, I guess, or Greek. But no, she was Snow White. And moreover, she was utterly insufferable about it. Utterly insufferable. And people were like, right, okay, don't like it. And they didn't like the CGI dwarves. And it just tanked. Absolutely tanked. Cost $336 million to make. Netted 170.
Now, that $336 million to make, does that include marketing? Because I'd be willing to bet they don't include marketing in that.
Million in losses. Brutal. Absolutely brutal. So, messing with established characters, overly progressive messaging, an insufferable,
Matt Stanford. So, to be fair, Danny has perfect pitch, which is incredible. Danny has, I would argue, better, if not better range, better vocal control than Elton John. So, no, the NSP version is just as difficult to sing.
Obsessed woman doing publicity rounds, not exactly great news. The point being, people don't like it. Bother to go and watch it.
Yeah,
not interested.
It's a great movie, Dad.
V's got a phrase this. It's non-binary, as in B-U-Y-nary. And that's the way that this works. If I'm the one with the money that you want, and if I don't like it, I'm not going to spend my money on this. And it goes even further than that, because of course the businesses were like, right, okay, why were we promoting all of this stuff that's really hated by the consumers? And they're like, oh yeah, maybe we won't do that, actually. Maybe we'll stop doing that. Trump's like, what are you doing? What's this DEI nonsense? And they're like, yeah. And this is half of UK businesses being like, yeah, why are we doing this?
Well, the reason the UK businesses will change approach to Trump's criticism is because at the end of the day, whether the UK wants to admit it or not, we own them, because we kind of own the entire world. When it comes to how we do capitalism, when it comes to our business practices, when it comes to our influence on global spending, yeah, whatever Trump says, or really whatever, not even necessarily Trump, whatever any American politician says, especially the president, in regards to capitalist first world societies, it is best that other capitalist first world societies kind of bend to the will of whatever the president is saying.
Like, what was this supposed to achieve again? But they've decided, yeah, we're gonna back down on the woke agenda. Interviews with 250 general counsels and chief legal officers found that they were reacting to pushback against DEI in the US by reviewing, and in some cases scrapping policies. In the US, black public servants have been sacked, and measures to attack racial inequality have been labelled discriminatory by the Department of Justice. That's because they were. That's an expressly discriminatory policy, and nobody wanted it. And this has shown that there's massive division in the country, and so it's good that one side has lost and the other side has won. We've won. The people who want the country governed.
See, and this is where I disagree. We have not won. You maybe say we've won a battle, right? You maybe say we've won a battle. The culture war is ongoing. Oh, DEI is dead? Yeah, I'll 100% say DEI is dead. Because it's being replaced by bridge. It's being shoveled under the rug, repackaged, renamed, trotted out as something completely different. So you could say DEI is dead, but that doesn't mean that it's gone. It's just shed its skin suit into a different sort of shape-shifting creature that is bridge. So you could say we've won a battle, but this is not a time to rest on your laurels.
In a traditional way, normal way, and people just act normally to one another. We've won this. We've won this article. And our victory has been so complete that when arguing with Nick Fuentes, Hassan, purported paragon of the left, one of their last shining stars, calls Nick Fuentes a gay Mexican. Manlet.
I covered this. This is so fucking funny. Hassan using gay as a pejorative. We are so back, baby.
Right? So what's he doing here? He's sexuality shaming him, he's nationality shaming him, and he's being ableist towards him. Incredible how this is like the second it just drops. Yeah, no, you're a gay Mexican man. Okay, great. These are all right-wing coded insults. And Hassan has got nothing else to insult him with. That's it. He's done. He's cooked. The left is completely cooked. This entire thing is over. The cultural influence the left had is waning.
I just like how the commies rebranded as socialist and progressive. Now, to be fair, I don't think they rebranded as leftist. I think we put that title on them. I agree with you, socialist and progressive. I don't think they came up with leftist. I think we put that on them, which I'm A-okay with, mind you.
Is the tide going out? It is gone. It's done. It didn't work. Weirdly enough, people went like, yeah, I think I do want to destroy my country, my culture, and all of the things I enjoy on a daily basis just to bring about communism. Actually, I'm not up for that. Weirdly, this seems repugnant. And it seems weird that we would allow people with such a hostile and malevolent agenda to have any kind of influence in society. See, I think I'm just going to vote with my wallet against this. I'm going to vote for the right-wing parties. I'm going to just do the things I can do within society to avoid this nonsense, and they did. And now it's all collapsing in on itself because, like I said at the beginning, total chud victory. But one thing at the end that I just want to add as well is it's remarkable how they got so far, right?
On Judah Main coming in with a 3-banger super sticker. We got the little lemon party, baby. We got that lemon party. Shout out.
How are we so vulnerable to this
nonsense?
Thank you, Andrew. How are we so vulnerable to woke, to people just like literally saying, well, we're going to have open racial discrimination, right? And it's because we just hadn't thought about what should be the case. We weren't thinking what world do we want to see? Do we want to see a world in which every race
No way. When your niece was in college, you call her a commie, she get mad so she's left. That's fucking funny, butter.
is exactly the same and represented in every aspect of life in exactly the same way. Do we want that world as an affirmative good? And actually, no.
Shout out,
really,
Fractal. Thank you.
Right? I want just people to live their lives normally, and I think that that leads to inequality, and that means that inequality is in and of itself an indication of a society that, if it is free, is operating as intended.
Bingo, bango, bongo, exactly. There will always be inequality. Inequality is a good thing. Inequality means that your system is working. Because if you've got inequality, that means that it is a merit-based system, and people that are putting in more work, people that are getting hired based on merit, people that are living their lives based on merit, will do better than those that don't. They will not be equal. Like, the fat, slovenly, homeless person who spends all their money on booze and drugs is not equal to the dude who's going to his 9 to 5 every day and, you know, getting his paycheck and paying his taxes, even though taxation is theft, and trying to put food on the family, on the table for his family. They're not equal, nor should they be. The loser, drug addict, homeless individual who likely made that choice himself is not equal to the person who's actually working.
Society in which there are over-representations of what you expect from different groups at different levels indicates an unfree society. For example, if half of welders...
Jackass G22s for a two-banger, all 5 fingers are not created equal. Straight up facts. Shout out. Thanks for the 2, homie.
are women, and half are, of course, men, then that's a society that is unfree, because it's not natural for women to become welders. You're going to expect literally like 1 or 2% of women to be welders to be women. So if that's not the case, then someone is interfering and making the society unfree. Someone's getting held back because just the natural inclinations, proclivities, and abilities of each group are not the same. Because groups of people have different characteristics overall. And this is in all things. Not, I know people jump to intelligence, but it's not just intelligence. It's all things. And that's normal and natural. It's fine for us to be different. Right? I don't want to say diversity is our strength, but in this way, it's normal for everyone to be different, to do different things, to be good at different things, and to be celebrated for different.
I can't work on cars. I've tried to learn how. My dad is great at it. I've spent many an afternoon working on the car with my pops. And I'm so glad he's so good at it, and I have an interest in it. My mind doesn't work like that. The mechanical inclinations for that don't make a lick of sense to me. However, my dad can't do music for shit. My dad cannot play an instrument whatsoever. He was in awe, even when I was like 16, 17 years old and was shit at the instrument, he was in awe of the fact that I could even attempt it because he couldn't. Different folk brains are made for different shit.
It's not hateful, it's not evil, it's not oppression. What it is are the expected results of a free society.
Fast food is...
Oh, ignore that. Shout out. Great video. You love to see it. Well done. Yes, we are taking massive dubs. However, it is just always very important, and it does bother me that Sargon didn't say this. Just because we're taking massive dubs does not mean that we should be taking that like for granted. That is the moment that you get complacent is the moment you lose. And so you need to pound them harder, better, faster, stronger, all that Kanye and Daft Punk shit until we achieve what it is that we're working for. Because the moment we get complacent, they are going to rise back up. They're already trying. Dude, Tencent out there trying, and the shills underneath them are trying to change the meaning of the word indie game. People have agendas, and you got to call out those agendas. Alrighty. Let's talk about the big news of yesterday. Let's talk about the big news of yesterday, the day before yesterday. It's ongoing. So I don't know if you guys heard or not. There was another trans mass shooter. Like at this point, I feel like we need to get DJ Khaled to just do a trans shooter anthem. Another one. Like, this shit keeps happening.
Should I look at the shooting thing? No. Did it happen again? No. There's no way. The shooter was trans again? There's no way, dude. This has to be a psyop, man. What the fuck is going on? Wait, what the fuck? Wait, so we can...
Yeah, but the psi in this instance stands for psychotic, not psychological.
Watch this video. Did Asmund watch this video, chat? Yeah, okay. One young girl dead and 4 others injured at a mass shooting at Dennis M. Lynch Arena Ice Rink in Pawtucket, Rhode Island.
Now, I will say, I am glad there was a trans individual, not a black dude, considering it was done at Lynch Arena.
Shots started ringing out during a high school hockey game, and the shooter was found dead at the scene.
So this is a different Miracle on Ice.
Holy shit.
Canada was crap this week too? What do you mean this week?
Did someone cap them? Like, was there a person? Oh, they shot them. Oh, I see. Yeah. Wow, what the fuck? So we got that one, and then let's see. There's more news on it. Didn't they literally? I swear there was a thread on X.
Yes, he did in fact have an SS tattoo. We'll get to that. If we don't, if Leaflet doesn't, we'll do more on it.
I'm wrong. Where people were saying that not that many of these like random mass shooters are trans. The first one was the thread. Okay.
This is true. This is true. In the grand scheme of things, not that many mass shooters are trans. Until you use the magic words. Chat, what is the magic words? Is it alakazam? Is it abracadabra? Open sesame? No, none of those. The magic words, exactly, Matt Stanford, per capita. Per capita, Thallow Greenskin. Per capita, Saint Adjacent. Spam the chat, baby. Give me some per capitas in the chat.
Okay, the first one was the thread. Update, initial reports suggest a suspect who opened fire today at the high school hockey game in Rhode Island was an adult male who shot his wife, daughter, and then what? Local media is saying that the man who murdered his wife and daughter, wait, so is it not, may have been dressed in women's clothes. Looks like another case of trans terrorism.
I love this. No, it wasn't a trans person. It was a man pretending to be a woman. It was, yeah, no shit. What do you think a fucking trans person is? A man pretending to be a woman, or, you know, a woman pretending to be a man. Either way. But the point is, yeah, that's what we've been saying. It's like, it wasn't a trans person, okay? The dude was just wearing women's clothes and really upset about, you know, trans injustices.
I mean, here's a photo of the alleged shooter. Oh, shit. How much do you want to bet that the shooter at the high school hockey game in Rhode Island was either trans liver or SSR medication or all three? You can post here by Benny Johnson. Let's check it out.
Transgender person.
Breaking, Pawtucket police chief confirms a suspect in the hockey. Oh, geez. Shooting is Robert Dorgan, who was born male and went by the name Roberta.
No.
As for the suspect, can you confirm whether the suspect's a male, female? We've heard that is a transgender person. Is that something that you have in terms of information?
So what I can say right now that we have identified the person, the suspect, by a birth name. The birth name was Robert Dorgan. We have also learned that the person does go by the name of Roberta, also uses a last name of Esposito. But
it's not trans, guys. It's not trans. It was just a dude pretending to be a woman, not a trans.
Again, that will be all confirmed throughout the course of the investigation. As to their status, that really doesn't have anything to do with the investigation.
Do you have an age? Yeah. An age of the suspect?
1960. No.
See the problem? Oh, geez. Shooters reported from Pawtucket, Rhode Island. Shooters transgender add to the... Oh, geez.
What in the wannabe Alice Cooper is this? Holy fuck. I'd seen this image. I'd seen some of the other images. I mean, it happened at a high school. I guess you could say school's out. Like,
Just reported from Pawtucket, Rhode Island. Shooters transgender add to the list. Tumbler Ridge, Annunciation, Nashville, Lakewood, Colorado. Yeah. And a lot of people, I saw a thread where people were saying that not that many trans people are committing these, these mass shootings aren't being committed by that many trans people. But like, this is like a lot in the last, a lot of the.
It's like, what, the last 2 years? Last 2 years, last 3 years? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. 10 in the last 2 to 3 years. That is somewhere between 3 to 5 mass shootings per year done by a trans individual. That's a lot of shootings, guys. That's a lot of shootings. You know what? And it's like, I guess the question I have about these trans people committing these mass shootings are, how much Marilyn Manson do they listen to and how much Doom do they play?
High profile ones are at the very least, right? Because from what I've seen, and the fact that people even said that, right? People predicted that this would be the case, and it actually was the case, is pretty crazy, man. The truth is, though, right, is what did you think was going to happen? If you have these people, right, like trans people, and then you push a narrative that everyone's coming to kill you, and they already have a lot of mental problems to begin with, which is just true. Like a lot of mental issues, and I'm not like specifically talking about the trans thing, but there's a lot.
I absolutely am. If you're a dude and you wake up in the morning, your first thought is, I need to put on my dress, I need to do my makeup, and I need to, oh, look at this, I'll go ahead and grab my Beretta, because I might just want to shoot up a school today. Yeah, no, it's pretty mentally fucked shit.
Compounding mental issues that come with that, right? Which is why there are issues with selfie rates and stuff like that, right? Like, those are all kind of connected. But you tell those people that society is like out there in the streets, like murdering people and trying to make you lose all of your rights. Like, obviously, I mean, where do they think this was gonna go? Right? People.
I do too, Andrew and Maine. I miss them plain old L's, G's, and B's.
People who already have a tend towards. Skybro says, I have a trans friend in Canada who was freaking out when Trump got elected. Thought there was going to be a hunt. Yeah, exactly. That's what I mean. It's like they kind of.
Well, to be fair, after Trump's election, there was a hunt, but the hunt was trans people hunting non-trans people.
Have pushed this narrative that there are people out there just hunting trans people. And so, like, what do you expect them to think when they already have a low self-esteem and they have a low
the RCMP and Canadian media tried to say the Tumbler Ridge shooter was female, which I'm okay with. I'm A-okay with. Like, here's my thought process. There aren't very many female mass shooters out there, right? So statistically, there really aren't that many. And I feel like that gives men a bad rep. So if you are going to be a dude, and you're going to cut your cock off, and you're going to cosplay as a woman, and you're going to commit as a mass shooting, yeah, let's go ahead and label it as a female mass shooting. Let's pump them female numbers up. These women want equality, right? They're tired of the patriarchy. They want equality. Get your mass shooter numbers up. Get equal with men.
Yeah. Low self-esteem combined with compounding mental issues, combined with, sometimes medication.
This episode is so going members only after the stream.
You have that, and then people telling them that, oh, they're out to kill you. And then they don't really care. A lot of them, they get to a point where they don't care about their own lives anymore. Like, they want to take their lives. So, like, they want to take out other people, too. The people who, like, in their view, oppress them, right? So this is just a natural result of that kind of ideology, to be honest. I don't mean trans specifically, but the ideology that people are pushing, that people are trying to kill trans people. You have a transgender friend who thinks they'll lose a disability because laws.
It's so funny to me, right? Because, like, look at me, right? Transphobe to the max, for real. Like transphobe to the max. Like, oh my god, you're fucking gross. At no point have I ever had the thought of, like, yo, they need to be, what was it that she just said? isekai selfies. I've never had that inclination. What I have had the inclination of is like I walk into a bar, I see a dude pretending to be a woman. I'm like, I think I'm gonna go to a different bar. I just don't want to be around you. You're weird, and you also might shoot up the bar.
Have been changed even a year after the bills were passed is essentially what certain types of bombers do. Unironically, sleeper agents, blueberry pie has been spoken. I don't know, but the idea that, and see, this is the reason why I'm trying to think about like how to say it like properly. I'm not trying to censor myself. I'm trying to think how to properly say it. Oh, I mean, there it is. Basically, radical gender ideology.
There's nothing irrational about fearing something that pretends to be something else. That's typical predator behavior in nature. While I agree with you that there's nothing irrational about fearing something that pretends to be something else, I disagree that that's natural. That's typically predator behavior. I think it's the opposite. That's actually normally prey behavior, because that's defense mechanisms to not succumb to the predators. So like when you've got the butterflies that have like the giant eye designs on their wings, that way it looks off in the distance as if it's like a much bigger predator peering through. Or you've got like gecko, or not gecko, chameleons that are able to like change their appearance and stuff. So oftentimes it's actually defense mechanisms, but by and large, I mean, I agree with the idea.
Is pushing unstable individuals towards violence and targeting innocent people. Yeah, it's the radical gender ideology of everyone's out to get us. We don't need therapy because we're just right about everything. Like all of these things kind of lead towards, and also,
well, to be fair, trans folks don't need therapy. I know that sounds crazy. Trans folk don't need therapy. But hear me out. Here's why. Because therapy is bullshit. Therapy is a soft science. All they do in that therapy is be like, no, you're correct to feel this way. Yeah, you're right to want to put on a dress and do your makeup. You're right to want to cut your cock off. Nah, trans folk don't need that. What they need is someone to be like, yo, you're a fucking dude. Man the fuck up and be a dude. And you ain't gonna get a therapist that says that.
just to be honest, like a lot of the worldview is really narcissistic, like just in general, and it's built on really weak foundations. Their self-esteem is built on a weak foundation where they have to force you to affirm them, otherwise their self-worth is destroyed. And this is what I've been talking about the whole time, right? Gamerly, thanks so much for the bits. You need to remember the total number of trans people is extremely low, like 1%.
They change color based on temperature, I think. Alright, maybe chameleons are a bad idea, but y'all get the point. Alright, fish. There are fish out there that blend into rocks and shit.
Max, it's lower than that. There's no way. Like in terms of people that actually have dysphoria, it's got to be less than 1%. Making this amount of them doing these things a higher percentage of their population overall. It's like I said, when their sense of their ego, right, their sense of self-worth is strictly based on controlling other people, right? And this is why, by the way, if you listen to the things I say, they're not even transphobic. I'm just being realistic. I'm giving them the literal best.
Well, no, I would say they are transphobic, and that's a good thing. Like, what is a phobia, right? A phobia is a fear of something. We have come to the, reality that these folks are to be feared. We're looking at 10 mass shootings over the course of 2 to 3 years. Yeah, that is actually something to fear. The difference is when they try and twist transphobia and like, oh, it means hate. Like, no, it's not hate, it's fear. And yes, you scare the fuck out of me. So it is transphobic, and that's a good thing.
Thing that you could do, which is you have to accept that people aren't going to always see you the way that you want to see yourself. And if you want people to see you that way, you have to do your best to make yourself seem that way, right? And even then, if you can't, because that's not possible for a lot of people, you have to steel yourself, because you can only control yourself. You can't control other people, right? You have to steel yourself and into being okay with you yourself. You have to accept yourself. You have to accept yourself and the limitations that are surrounding your condition. Which is why I said that when people say, well, trans women are trans, meaning that they're not biologically women. If you accept that yourself as a trans person, you say, well, I understand that, then it can't be used against you because you also recognize the reality of the situation. I literally saw somebody post this. There was a trans person on X. Like, hold on, let me see if I can find it. But there was a trans person on.
Yeah, to be fair, you don't need to follow up anything after that leaflet. You just be like, yeah, there's a trans person on X. Frankly, there's a fuck ton of them. It's weird.
Actually, I literally just said this. Same thing. Let me see if I bookmarked it. I literally just followed them. Had a really good post about it. Like this right here. This person here, Moni over here, who is like I found them because they're followed by like LH Gray, Emerald Apple, and like a bunch of people like Blair White, Andy No, Scott Pressler, J.K. Rowling are all follow them. So that's how I found out about them. It came up in my feed. But this person says, as a transsexual, I can state truthfully that there are two genders, two sexes because science. And if your belief in yourself is grounded in this, then it doesn't have the weak foundation that a lot of these other trans people have, right? And so like their foundation is strictly based on control, because and this is why it's so weak, is because they can't control literally every single person, right? So if your self-worth is contained within like yourself, as in like, okay, you know, this is the truth of the matter. I still think I deserve dignity despite that, and I'm okay living like this, and you know, I don't expect everybody to like literally be okay with it, right? That's a very strong foundation, because if somebody says something to you, you're like, okay, well, you know, fair enough, like, you know, that's what you think and it's fine. I don't like it, but that's fine, right? That's a very strong foundation compared to like literally everybody.
Over 8% of the people with body dysphoria overcome it. That is correct. The Tankella. Yes, that is correct. In fact, I believe it's higher than that. I think the number sits somewhere between 86 and 92%. Like, if I recall, I could have my figures wrong, but I'm pretty sure the number hovers between 86 and 92%. Not only is it treatable, most of the time, it's just you outgrow it naturally as long as you are treated like the gender you are. Which is, I mean, I guess you could say that's being treated, but no, that's just being fucking normal. Like, you got yourself a kid, 12 years old, they think they're the opposite thing, and as you just don't acknowledge it and keep treating them as what they actually are, by like 16, 17, 18, they'll have grown out of it. That's not even really treatment so much so as, yeah, it's just fucking normal.
In the world has to believe that you're a woman or you're a man. And then the instant one person, the things that works in a containment, right? Where you have like your friends, stuff like that, like that kind of method.
Yes, Matthew Watson, that's correct. Most people with gender dysphoria, once they hit adulthood, you know, early adulthood, late teens, whatnot, they just turn out to be gay. That is what happens in the vast majority of instances, is they just turn out to be gay.
Methodology, like it works in containment, right? But the real world is very diverse. So like the instant you step outside of the containment, which you have to do in life, you're gonna have a person that's gonna say, sorry, I'm not buying it, sir. And then that, boom, blows your...
Well, so Divine Edwards says it's overrepresented among autistic kids, which, I mean, that is true. It is overrepresented amongst autistic kids. But autism itself is also overrepresented.
Entire, like all of your HP, all of your armor is just destroyed and like instantly, and then that destroys like their ego, which completely fucks them up. Do you see what I mean? The other mentality is much more resilient to damage, whereas...
By the way, destroying your ego should be a good thing. I saw some people earlier talking about like psychedelics and stuff in chat. Trust me, destroying your ego should be a good thing. Anytime you take mushrooms or whatnot, you get yourself what's called an ego death. You are set on the right path for like the next 3 to 6 months.
The mentality that they built is strictly based on illusion. So there's no grounding in like any reality. It's strictly illusion based. So the instant someone sees past the illusion, it's over. And then it's enough to, you know, drive people to, you know, want to, you know.
You gotta take enough though. Well, you've got to take, you gotta take like the right amount. I mean, I'm not, obviously every person's different, everyone's metabolism is different, everyone's body is different, things that fed. So it's not like I can just tell you how much to take, but by and large, yeah. Take the fucking mushrooms and have an ego death.
Self-isekai, because it's the only way out. Do you understand what I mean? Like psychologically speaking, it's the only way out. Like after that happens, it's like everything was torn down and you're exposed and there's nothing left of yourself, because all of yourself was based on other people's perception of you, which is why it's so weak. And then so you have that weak ego, that weak psyche that is combined not only with mind-altering medicines, you have it combined with a really vicious ideology on top of a foundation.
Goes about Hala, what do you mean ego trip? Because ego trip as it's got a negative connotation, or do you mean go on a trip as in like they're tripping on psychedelics and then they have an ego death? Those are different.
of fear in which they've built up this idea that these people want to kill you and destroy your rights. So you have all of that together. It's inevitable that people...
And you may have hated it, Dex, but for the next several months after, I bet you were better off. I bet you were a whole lot more conscious of your place in the universe.
A certain subset of those people who are particularly troubled would lash out at the people who they deem to be their oppressors. My point is, none of this is surprising. To go all the way back and to wrap everything up that I just said, none of this is surprising. Obviously, this is the obvious result. All of this. What do you guys...
Yeah, ego death is when your sense of I dissolves, your consciousness melts into the oneness, and you have insights about your life. Correct. Fractal... Yeah, because ego in this sense... So ego has two meanings. Like, oh, this person's got a big ego or whatnot. Like there's the negative connotation of they think so much of themselves, this, that, and the other. But we're referring to the Jungian concept of ego, the Carl Jung concept of ego, which is the sense of self, the sense of I. Like, you know, if you're reading the Dragon Ball Super manga, for example, and Vegeta has the form Ultra Ego, it's not saying that, like, his egotisticalness is so powerful he got new. No, he's saying that he has accepted his sense of self as who he is as a Saiyan, and that's given him his new form, his new power up. It's actually a really brilliant idea. Either one, why most of these negative connotation. I mean, ego tripping is bad in general unless you can back it up.
Talking about if you want to go with chromosomes, are you guys talking about like third sex stuff with chromosomes? No, it's just when people are intersexed, it's just a mutation of the norm. It does not dictate the norm because there is a defect. Basically, the defect does not define the norm. In fact, the funny thing is the intersex
who the fuck is Leafit?
The Intersex Society of America, I think. One of the big intersex societies says the same thing. They said they said that there's only two genders, and we're not trying to say that like there's a third gender here. It's obviously a defect. 3 arms doesn't define the norm. Yeah, exactly. Even intersex people still present one way with hormones. Intersex isn't comparable to LGBT because it's a biological reality that can't be changed.
Well, not only that, but intersex is not a third gender. There's always a predominant gender. It's just a mutation that also gives you aspects of the other gender, usually in a physical form. So yeah, you can't define a biological mutation as a third gender.
Yep. Isn't intersex a really low percent? It's fairly low. There's a lot of different expressions of intersex. So intersex doesn't mean like one thing. It's not like an intersex condition is just like a singular mutation or a singular disorder. There's like, it's an umbrella term for like any sort of fuckery in terms of like it's all of the fuckery with male and female and like all of the variations.
Yeah, it's deformity,
like whether
exactly,
hormonally, developmentally, all of these different things. Sorry, in summary, all of this was the natural result of everything that we have allowed to happen. Artificer Maximilian, thank you so much for the kicks. Thank you. Just wanted to say that one of the few blue-haired political commentators I listen to. Thank you. I appreciate it, man. Thank you. And thank you, Christian the Foxy, for the sub as well. All of this is a natural result of it, and it's everyone's fault. That's my take on that.
Yeah. Base take. Excellent take from Leafit. Let me link you guys the video. Give me one moment here. I forgot to link the first video, but it's fine. It is what it is. It happens at times. Yeah, at the end of the day, the trans shooter stuff, let me see if I can go to X and pull up more on it, because, I mean, it was wild. The Rhode Island trans shooter tweeted yesterday warning that you shouldn't point out that trans women are really men or they will go berserk. Transgender people are violent and dangerous to society. I mean, yeah. Again, they want us to believe that this is a woman. They want us to, again, there's that SS tattoo. There's that SS tattoo. Now, I'm actually surprised the liberal media haven't ran with the idea that this is a white supremacist. Or if they have, I haven't seen it. Trans shooter epidemics, and now these are the 2 most recent ones that both happened within, what, a week of each other? I believe it happened within a week of one another. Incredibly concerning that every mass shooter is trans. I mean, look at this. Dude, if you ran into this in a dark alley, I'm not I'm man enough to admit I would run away. I ain't even going to attempt to scrap, bro. I ain't even going to attempt to scrap. I'm running the other way. You telling me this dude who got them like DC superhero shoulders is also out here in a dress and a tube top looking like Chad Kroger up on the top of the head and shit. You think I'm going to throw hands? Fuck that, bro. Fuck that. Tactical retreat. Tactical retreat. And they want us to believe that this is a woman. Also, what the fuck you doing not wearing shoes? What are you doing looking like Chad Kroger but also not wearing shoes? Mage Wolf member for 5 months. Chopping off your junk is crazy. It is. It's chopping off your junk and then adding titties up top is crazy. What's our boy Jake Monroe gotta say? What's our boy Jake Monroe gotta say?
Basically, to summarize what's happening here is that gender dysphoria, while sharing a similarity with the recent trend in transgenderism, also is most likely a symptom of a much larger mental health diagnosis that is not being addressed. Instead, they are being enabled. They're having their worst symptom elevated and enabled and catered to. Their stability as a person is resting on this thing being accommodated. And when it's not, they get violent because they are not given the treatment they actually need. And ultimately, I think the deeper underlying mental health condition is not being met. It's not being addressed. It's not being remedied. And it is...
And there's a reason for that. And there's a reason for that. It's a government goddamn psyop. If they can create more people to be trans, they create customers for life. Because you don't just walk into the pharmacy and be like, whack off my dick. Like, that's not what happens. They cut that shit off, they insert some grossness all up inside you, and you're now a customer for life. You gotta keep coming, you gotta keep getting the injections, you gotta keep getting your shit opened up, as disgusting as it is. You have now made a customer to the medical industry for life. It is no different than cancer. Like, oh man, we need to find a cure for cancer. We've donated millions and millions to cancer research. We've been donating millions and millions to cancer research for the last 30, 40, 50 fucking years. Why haven't we found a cure for cancer? Maybe because the medical industry doesn't want there to be a cure for cancer, because you can make a whole lot more money treating a disease than you can motherfucking curing it. Yeah, big pharma psyop. Exactly. Anyway...
now presenting in very violent ways.
Yeah, customer for life, although it is a shorter life. Good point, Sebrew.
Which is why this is happening, because now we've got more trans people in the streets because of the trend that happened in 2020. So don't expect this to be the last trans shooter, because it certainly wasn't the first this year. Basically, to summarize...
I wonder, hold on, I'm curious. No, not present 2028. I just want poly market. Is there a prediction market for... I wonder if there's a prediction market for total trans shooters in 2026. Well, transgender athlete compete in 2026. Ice shooter charge, Minneapolis Border Patrol, ice shooter. Guys, I think we should be betting on how many trans shooters there will be throughout 2026. That could be a fucking nice payout. Like, if you were to throw just $100 at trans shooters of 2026 and you hit that number right, bro, you could be getting a bag, son. Like, dude, my grandpa was a cop in Detroit in the 70s, right? My grandpa was a cop in Detroit in the 70s. And this is when the mob ran everything, son. The mob ran everything. This is one of those morbid stories my grandfather ever told me, but it's a great fucking story. So, at the end of the year, on December 31st, every year, they would do a prize pool for how many total murders there would be at the end of the year. And so yeah, you had all the information up to that point. So now you're on New Year's Eve. New Year's Eve, December 31st. There's going to be more deaths throughout the course of the day. So if you get everyone put their money in the pool, and if you got the right number, then you walk away with the whole pool, dude. Again, this is the police force in Detroit in the 70s. So a different kind of Deadpool, exactly. And my grandpa almost won it one year. He was so pissed off he didn't win. He was mad that there was extra murders. What happened? My grandpa got the number. He had the exact number correct, would have walked away with the whole pot. And then at like 11:53, right before midnight, a mob shooting happened. They lined up 7 dudes and gunned them down back of the head mob style one by one. Added an extra 7 fucking murders that he wasn't able to account for, and he lost out on the pool. Bullshit, man. Bullshit. Yeah, here's that post from Benny Johnson. Like, the Reddit retards trying to censor the fact that Tumble Ridge shooter was trans. Tumble Ridge shooter identifies as Jesse Strang. A dangerous pattern seems to be emerging that nobody wants to talk about. That's all I have to say. Removed by moderator. Removed by moderator. Who's the latest trans shooter? Well, look who the latest trans shooter is retweeting. It doesn't matter. Fun fact, guys. Fun fact. It doesn't matter if the trans shooter is Republican, Democrat, left, right, liberal, conservative. It is irrelevant. They shouldn't exist. They shouldn't be around. It's a mental illness. New hoax just dropped. Oh, yeah, right. This is what you guys were talking about earlier. The CMRP, the MCRP. Shootings at school home in British Columbia, Canada, leave 10 dead. 10 dead in rare Canadian school shooting. Female suspect among victims. Canada school shooting leaves 9 dead as female suspect identified. Canada shooting, 9 killed by female in dress. Female in dress in Tumbler Ridge. That is probably the most right-wing way that Canada could actually put this. Female in dress. Because if it was, an actual female, we wouldn't need to specify that they were wearing a dress. 10 dead, including female suspect in devastating shootings at British Columbia school. 10 dead, including female suspect. 10 dead after a woman opens... That was saying woman. Female identified as suspect in worst Canada school shooting in decades. 10 dead, including female suspect. Canada's so fucking cooked, bro. Canada is so fucking cooked, bro. Holy shit. And I kind of love it. I kind of love it. Y'all brought this on yourselves. To be fair, we ain't doing much better. We ain't doing much better. Level always move the goalpost and never wrong in these specific terms. Agreed. Agreed. The downfall of Canada has honestly been one of my favorite things. Because, like, growing up in the mid-2000s, growing up right after 9/11, things to that effect. Being 10 years old, things like that. There was always the joke that Canada was the nice America, right? Green Day comes out and puts out that song, American Idiot, in like 2004, shit like that. There was always the joke, like, oh, Canada's the nice America. Oh, Canada is the nice apartment above a meth lab. Uh-huh. Where are we at now? Where are we at now, Canada? I'm living for the downfall. With the amount of war crimes we had. Hey, I'm just going off of what the stereotypes and jokes were here in America in like 2003, 2004, 2005, right around then. A lot of Americans, for whatever reason, really wanted to beat Canada. That worked out real well for them. Sure, it wasn't a war crime the first time, but still. Ginty Maxie, you cool. You all right. Right? You get the pass. Alrighty, crew. We've been going a little over an hour. I think it's time we break into some Epstein shit. Actually, this is more about Ghislaine Maxwell than it is Epstein, but even so.
r/conspiracy going crazy over Gizzy. Ghislaine Maxwell. Okay, let me pull this up and find it.
Okay, am I wrong, or does he say it wrong every time? Like, isn't it not Ghislaine Maxwell? It's not Ghislaine, right? The S is silent. Isn't it Ghislaine? Or have I been saying it wrong for like half a decade or more now? I'm pretty sure it's Ghislaine Maxwell. Does anybody in chat know? Oh, he says it wrong on purpose. Okay, that makes more sense. Ghislaine is funnier. Yeah, Ghislaine is funnier.
So, this is the conspiracy post we got going on here. Let me see. I'll pull it up. So they think it's a different person. Is that it? This is not a same person.
So I'm going to need to see some compelling evidence because to me, they're the same person. Like, yo, you in prison for several years, you get haggard and shit. I think that this is Ghislaine, but we'll see. We'll see what the evidence is.
So people think it's a different guy or a different person. I mean, okay, let me see where the other image is. Yeah, here's another one right here. So they think this is a different Ghislaine Maxwell. As a portrait artist, here are the different facial features that I noticed in Ghislaine Maxwell's 2026 appearance. So eyebrow shape looks different.
Yeah, the eyebrow shape looks different because this is very obviously like plucked and primmed and her eyebrows are done. She probably don't have that same luxury in the pin.
Eyelids should sag more over time, especially since Ghislaine had hooded eyelids. Now she has a double eyelid. Note possible with surgery. Yeah, but how could she have gotten surgery if she was there? Noses do get bigger in old age and with menopause, but it looks completely different than the original.
Well, to be fair, the camera angle is also different. Like in the first picture, she's looking downward and forward, so you're gonna have like it's kind of like you know how fat bitches will take selfies like this. They'll be all like, because it makes them look thinner. We got the same thing going on here. She's angled downwards and whatnot, so she's got fat bitch selfie mode going on with the nose. Whereas this picture is more straight on. In fact, it looks like it's actually angled upwards a little bit.
It's also more of a button nose, which is wider and shorter. This is not logical for cosmetic surgery / rhinoplasty. That's a nose job. And or hormonal changes. A few inconsistencies in lobe fattiness. I don't know about that. Her mouth is wider and the distance between smile lines. Her lips are also more defined.
I imagine the smile lines would change if you've been in prison for several years and, now you're probably not smiling as much. Yo, shout out ABF. What up, homie?
Sharp and flat. This could be a result of stopping lip filler. Her chin is also widely different in a way that no plastic surgeon would do.
Well, again, this is probably her in her natural state. People seem to forget that Ghislaine Maxwell was rich as fuck, dude. She didn't have Epstein money, but she was like an heiress and shit. She had a lot of money. She could put a lot into her appearance. You ain't putting a whole lot into your appearance when you stuck in the pin, dude. So, yeah, all the things that she was doing to make herself look more attractive than she actually was, when that's not available, like, we've all seen these ugly broads who you're swiping on Tinder or Bumble or whatever, and like in the pictures with all the filters and shit, you think they look good, right? You think they look good, and you go to meet up with them at your local biker bar and gonna do some karaoke and maybe get some French fries and hopefully score, and then they show up and they're like bald. All I'm saying is, I think it's more logical to assume, no, this is her. She just isn't having the Instagram filter anymore because she's in prison.
The position of her chin or prominent chin bone moves up a centimeter, which is part of the skull shape. What the fuck? So they think this is a fake. This is the fake one? What the hell is this?
If they were going to do a fake Maxwell, right? If they were going to do a fake Maxwell, I feel like they could have done a better job. Like, we're talking about the CIA, the FBI, all these intelligence agencies. You know, we're talking the full might of the feds protecting these pedos, right? You would think that they would have a better, they would do it in a way to where autistic folk on Reddit couldn't come up, like, I couldn't point out all these noticeable differences. Exactly, Janice. Yeah, she's in Club Fed now. Of course she looks different.
This is real or not, guys? I'm not sure. Oh, here we go. Looks the same? Yeah, definitely. Is it the same person? I mean, if I can just pull this back, like, I mean, I'm not convinced by this. I'm gonna be honest. Like,
wouldn't it be funny if the CIA half-assed it on purpose to get us to argue about it? That would be fucking great. That would be an awesome psyop. It's just like the CIA intentionally made a bad Ghislaine Maxwell body double so that we can bitch about that and not the fact that we still aren't seeing prosecutions for the fact that the world is ran by pedophiles. That's the only reason I doubt that. The only reason I don't think that's true, ABF, is because that would mean that a 3-letter organization, that would mean that the government actually had a good idea. And as we all know, the government sucks at everything.
Like, this does not convince me. Like, this one, I think it's really the nose, in my opinion. The nose does kind of shift things. But, like, here's the other issue I have, right? Is that if I pull this up, well, if you look at the way a person's face looks with different camera lenses, it's going to...
Yeah, exactly. Well, not even with different camera lenses. I mean, yeah, that could be an aspect of it, right? Different camera lenses, that could 100% be an aspect of why the pictures look different. But also, she probably just looks different. She's been in prison for years. Dude, if I pull up, like again, I've shown this off. Look at me streaming 3 years ago versus now. I'm a pretty fucking different looking person. My hair's way shorter. My face is way fatter. Like the facial hair is different. I would assume that when I lost a bunch of weight, my nose probably also changed a bit. I don't know, and I ain't gonna go look because I don't want to look at my fat ass. But like, you could take the camera angles aspect of this aside, and it's like, yeah, people change when they're over time.
Be way different, right? And so, like, and I've showed this before, is that you have people with different camera lenses and they do look different. But like, here's the difference to me though, right? Because like, you look at this, is that in every single one of these, except for that, he's looking down in that one, so it's a little bit different. But like with none of these, the nose is not, it just doesn't look that same way, right? I mean, like, damn. I don't know, guys.
Trying to cover up that she's in my closet, bro. If I had Ghislaine Maxwell in my closet, I would be doing so much like torturous, not safe for YouTube things to get them fucking names, son. Like, I'm trying. Y'all ever seen Supernatural? If you've seen Supernatural, I think it's like season 4, after Dean gets resurrected from hell. They've got the demon Alistair like tied down in Bobby's bunker. And it's revealed that while Dean was in hell, while Dean Winchester was trapped in hell, he became like a master of torture. And the whole episode is just Dean going ham, torturing Alistair to get information. Bro, I would make the Dean Winchester torture episode look like Barney, bro. I would be you know, because you gotta understand, I got no morals. I'm a bad person. And so the things that I would do is like, oh, I'm just gonna run to Walmart real quick, get some bamboo. All right, give me your fingernails, Epstein. We're gonna just bit by bit, bamboo slivers under the fingernails. You don't like that? Oh, you better start giving some names, slut.
Like, I asked Grok to analyze the photos. I mean, I don't think it's really going to do that. You want me to be honest? Like, I could do it and just see what happens, but I really don't think it's going to go anywhere.
My enjoyment of Supernatural follows Dean's mood of each season. That's funny. By the way, Supernatural ended at season 5. There's nothing after season 5. That's when the show ends.
And so I'm going to go and say Super Grok. Where is it here? Where's the image of this bitch? Where the fuck was it? God damn it. Okay, all right, I do it like this.
Asmongold, a bold dude, opening his files and stuff on stream. I could never. Like, even if I'm just moving to another tab, I switch the camera just in case. Like, just in case I switch that camera scene. Like, what a brazen individual.
This is fine. Okay, let me go and just.
Yeah, he could have pulled a Vosh, exactly.
MS Paint, nope, wrong one.
I don't think that Asmongold would be into horsecock, though. Like, if I had to guess an Asmongold fetish, I think it's probably something real basic. I bet it's something real basic. I think it's probably like women in cosplay or something.
MS Paint. All right, no, we'll try it out. No, it's all right. It's all right. Let me black this out too, real quick, because it might confuse it with this right here. Okay, because it might, like, it's the AI, right? And so save Ghislaine Who cares? Okay. Yeah, so there we go. All right. So I'll try it out. We'll see what happens, okay? We're going to get into this. We're going to figure it out. So where is this bitch? Where'd it go? Oh, there it is. Okay.
Bro, it was an what do you mean where'd it go? You typed in the name, who cares? Alphabetical order. It would be at the end. W is close to the end of the alphabet. Christ in heaven, he bothers me sometimes. I love Asmongold, but god damn it.
All right. Analyze this photo and tell me the differences between these two people. Okay.
Why didn't he fix how he typed analyze? Oh, it hurts.
All right, we're gonna figure it out. We're gonna figure it out right now. Let's go. Because I'm predicating it on it being two different people. So if it catches me, then that means it's probably fake. Nothing in image, explicit ID, complicating direct tool access. Uh-oh. And so we're gonna figure it out. Grok sucks at this. It might, but we're gonna figure it out because the AI will know this. This is why it's smart. It can do this stuff. Look at the missing tattoo on Epstein. I already saw that, the one on his arm. Yeah, I already went through all that. I've seen a lot of these already.
Yeah, but Lolly doesn't matter to me. I don't care if he had Lolly in his folders because drawings are fucking drawings.
Like, y'all need to keep in mind that, like, I mean, I do see the shit on, like, all the crazy stuff that's going on. I see a lot of it, okay? So let me go and find this here. Her glasses make this one look bigger with the lenses. Yeah, I mean, I'm gonna just see what it says, though. And that's what really matters. You need to use Gemini at the same time with the same question. You think I should try that, too? Okay. All right, I'm gonna do it. Give me a minute. I'm gonna do it with the Gemini, too. Gemini, ask it. What the fuck is this? Not now. Not now. Like, not now. Okay, analyze the photo. Upload the photo. There's the photo. Okay. And I'm going to have it be thinking. Yeah, think. I'm going to put it on thinking mode. Upload. Okay, so this is what it says. Two individuals' faces with red rectangular boxes highlighting specific facial features. It appears to be a screenshot frame from a graphic. I'll tell you the two differences. Key differences: gender presentation, age appearance, facial...
Grok noted gender presentation? Really?
Expression, herring...
Is Grok... I don't know. I very rarely use Grok. The only thing that I use Grok for when it comes... Because I get people like X, people like Elon Musk, super base. Grok, in my opinion... this has been my experience. This is completely anecdotal, but this has been my experience. When it comes to getting correct information, Grok has been way worse than ChatGPT. ChatGPT has been way more reliable in terms of getting proper information than Grok. So the only time the problem with ChatGPT is it can't really animate images very well. So anytime I want to make like something moving, if I want to make a video, I'll use Grok for that. I will use, an existing videos like, hey, animate this to do XYZ. That's how we got the new tinfoil haters intro, for example. But beyond that, yeah, I don't trust Grok with just about anything.
Grooming. The comparison might be from a video or a meme. And the two people seem distinct individuals rather than the same person at different times.
ChatGPT is way too censored. You just gotta know how to use it. You just gotta know how to use it. I use ChatGPT for damn near every video. Like, for example, let's see. For one, I mean, I did this earlier. It was like, I did a picture of Sid the Sloth because I wanted to make fun of John Leguizamo. So I put this character in an ice uniform. So it gave me that. That was nice. I did an image enhance. It's like, Ghislaine Maxwell because it's on the thumbnail. Took this image. Was like, hey, generate with high fidelity. Didn't give me any issues with that. Live stream title optimization. This is how I get like my live stream titles. Because I want to make sure that they're algorithmically, they're algorithmically sound. And so I said, rate the title. Epstein Files Gets Worse. Internet reacts to another trans shooting. It didn't give me any pushback on using terminology like trans shooting and stuff. You just gotta know how to talk to it. Like you just gotta know how to talk to ChatGPT. It really isn't that censored in the grand scheme of things. And I would rather it be, Like, obviously, I'm anti-censorship, and I don't want it to be censored. I don't want the AI to be censored whatsoever. But if I have to have the choice between using a more censored AI, but that is also more accurate and reliable, versus one that is less censored but gives me bad information, bad factual information, I'm going with the more censored option.
Man. So even the AI says it. That's a lot. Holy shit. So the AI even said that look East Asian? Yeah, look at this. So this comparison may be from a video or a meme, but based solely on the photo, the two people seem distinct individuals rather than the same person at different times. What is the likelihood that they are two different people? Give me a percentage. 90, wait, key factors that make them very likely two different people. I'd estimate over 95%.
To me, all this does is show how bad Grok is at this. That's what I'm, the takeaway here for me is that this is how bad Grok actually is, because and y'all know me, dude. I'm a big time conspiracy theorist. There's a reason that every Tuesday night on the show is dedicated to conspiracy theories. I don't see this one. This one does not make any sense to me. Like, from a why would they do it perspective, or just looking at the photos. Just looking at the photos, it doesn't make any sense to me. We got a Yarn Witch raid. What is up, Yarny and Yarny's crew? Shout out. I appreciate you. Thank you so much. Yarn Witch is a good gal. Make sure that you drop her a sub if you're in my chat right now and you haven't before. Yarny is she a gym, dude. Thank you for the raid, Yarn Witch.
Probability that they are distinct individuals, not the same person. Oh my God. Gentlemen, we gotta shut this AI shit down, okay? Like, bro, it's poking holes in all these.
Why wouldn't they? If you were a billionaire and your son went to jail, wouldn't you send a doppelganger? Not necessarily. Not necessarily at all. What is the motive? What is there to gain from that? Like, billionaires do things for optimal outcomes. Especially criminal sex peddling billionaires like Ghislaine Maxwell's father. So what is the optimal outcome? What would the benefit be of you sending in a body double as opposed to, for example, just like paying off the judges to get her acquitted or something? Like, the time and effort that a body double would take is, because Occam's razor, right? Occam's razor. The simplest solution is often the most correct one. Body double is way low on the list of, like, what would be the simplest solution. You could have fixed the trial, could have paid off judges, could have made evidence disappear, all that. If they didn't want Ghislaine in prison, there's a million other simpler avenues.
Stories and all these narratives, this is bad. And they cloning people over here? Yeah, so what did Gemini say? Wait, okay.
Compared to the Kurt Cobain conspiracy and this, which is more believable, it is far more believable. It is far more believable to me that Kurt Cobain was murdered than this is a Ghislaine Maxwell body double in prison.
So does it say it's two different people? Of two individuals. Wait, even Gemini says this too. Wait a minute. How certain?
Occam's razor goes out the window when these people are pedo cannibals. Why? Like why would these people being pedo cannibals like just eliminate Occam's razor? The two are not congruent with one another. Like, to make extraordinary claims require extraordinary evidence. You're going to have to give me evidence as to why we should disregard Occam's razor just because of the nature of the crimes and the nature of what these people are.
Are you that they are two different people?
I can't give much of an explanation about Gemini. I've never used Gemini, so I don't know how accurate it is, how good it is. I've used Grok a bunch. I've used ChatGPT a bunch. Anecdotally, I can say Grok is exponentially worse. I've never used Gemini, so I don't know how accurate or how good Gemini is.
Okay. What does it say? What's it going to say? It's not her, bro. No, give it a minute. Give it a minute. This is important. In the world of facial analysis, there is a distinct difference between lookalike and biometric match. While I can't provide a forensic grade guarantee of 100%, the anatomical markers in these two photos lean heavily towards them being different individuals.
Now, but again, from this point, and this is why people use AI incorrectly. This is why people use AI incorrectly. Let me give you guys another example. When putting together last night's episode of TFH, let's see. Yeah, when putting together last night's episode of TFH, let me show you how long the conversation was. So, yeah. I start off, are you familiar with the Courtney Love killed Kurt Cobain, or at the very least had him killed? Or the conspiracy? Yes, I'm familiar with it. And then this is how long we spent discussing it, arguing it, debating it, me countering its points, it countering my points, the whole nine. So like when AI says something, so like for example, what's a good example? So like it gave me this whole list of points as to why. All right, I'll go through my criticism of your initial response line by line. So because it gave me this response here as to why the theory doesn't actually work, right? And so I said, let me give you, I'll give you my initial, I'll go through my criticisms line by line. And so here is me going through all my criticisms of ChatGPT's points against me. And it took them into consideration, right? And we kept doing this back and forth to the point where it finally got to, nope, not there yet. Grant that, let's say it's possible. Okay, so it was a little bit further down than this. Plausible, non-frivolous. It was a little further down than that. A little further down than that. You're putting words on my mouth. So your framework is doing this. Okay, yeah, you're correct. You're right to correct that. The distinction matters a lot. You said a logical conclusion, not the most logical conclusion. So, like, AI will jump to conclusions, and you can then correct it, you can alter it, you can, because AI is not great with specifics. AI is not good with specificity. So the point is, by the end of all of this, I basically had it agreeing with me. Clean logical synthesis, yes. And then it gave me caveats, and I said it was the end of the conversation. So the point is, with Asmongold just saying, it's saying this, you then have to question it further. You would then ask the AI, like, what about if you account for the fact that this is is a woman of insert age here, pre-prison, when she had access to XYZ cosmetic surgeries or face creams, makeup, and this second individual is the second photo is this individual supposedly after 2 years of being in prison with no access to that, plus additional age. Like, you've got to give it more information, and then it will readjust its argument. Like, we could probably run this experiment on this show right now. We could probably run this experiment right now. Let's do that. That seems fun. All right. Maxwell body double image. All right, let's see if we can find that same image. All right, this one kind of works. See if it does. All right. Let's see. Somehow DuckDuckGo is even worse. Goddamn. Well, here, let's open image new tab. Is it all? Yeah, it's all blurry and shit. I figured that'd be the case. What about... Where was it? Where was it? All right, this... All right, fine. Here's what we'll do. We'll screenshot it. And we'll... ChatGPT. And now, let's find... What was the exact language that Asmongold used earlier? Analyze this photo and tell the differences between these two people. Okay. All right, analyze this photo, tell me the difference between these two people. So, because we specified these two people, it's going to inherently think that they are different people. Here's a neutral visual comparison based on what's visible in the images. Left person, wearing glasses, noticeable frame, short dark hair, more neutral, facial expression, narrow face shape, no visible earrings or accessories, plain light background. Right person, not wearing glasses, short style black hair, similar. Additionally, red boxes highlight differences in the nose, chins, those bridges the tip near the differently chin jawline. All right. What are the odds they are the same individual? I can't determine or estimate the likelihood of these two people in age range of the same individual. I can say from general visual standpoints, while they share some broad similarities, shorter hair, there are also multiple noticeable differences. One's wearing glasses while the other's not, different lighting. It's important to note that lighting, camera lens, age expression, because of these variables, visual comparison alone, especially from a single pair of images, is not a reliable way to confirm identity. Are you familiar with who this is in the image? I'm not able to identify who they are. I can only describe. God damn it. I'm not able to authenticate or match the person, image, or real individual. All I can do is discuss differences in appearance. I'm assess or estimate whether two photos show the same person. All I can do is analyze the comparison. All right. Stop. That's irrelevant. Yeah, I'm retarded today. To the point I'm about to make, just play along. Alright, if we're purely playing along with the premise and treating the right image as Ghislaine Maxwell for the sake of argument, from a strict visual comparison standpoint, the two photos do not look like a clear one-to-one match at face value. Key observable differences. Nose structure. Less image appears to show narrower, broad bridge and slightly different shape than right. Chin jawline. The left looks more angular and tapered, while the right appears rounder and fuller. Facial fullness. The right face looks softer with more cheek volume. Eye and brow area. The eye-shaped brow frame look different through glasses. Lighting complicate this. Overall facial proportions. The left face reads longer and slimmer. The right reads wider and more filled out. However, if your point is about how convincing a side-by-side comparison is evidence, the important analytical takeaway is this: two photos taken under different light. Yeah, that's all fine. So based on this, what percentage would you... I don't want to use the word guess. All right, what percentage would you say these two separate photos are both of Ghislaine Maxwell? So I can't assign a percentage of probability. The two photos of Ghislaine Maxwell. Estimating two images. All right. Even hypothetical playing along scenario, given numerical likelihood, would imply facial recognition or identity confirmation, which isn't reliable for a single pair of images. All I can say is that cropped comparisons like red box are not strong evidence of identity either way. So, I mean, either way, ChatGPT is being a whole lot more neutral about it. Was its initial statement that they were Yeah, that they were different people. All right, so so now we'll ask you this. You assumed from the beginning that they were two different people. Is this because I framed it as such with my initial statement being all right, you assume from the beginning of these, see, yes, your initial framing strongly influenced the way I approach the image. When you ask, tell me the difference between these two people, that implicitly establishes a premise that the image contained two separate individuals. In conversational analysis, I generally follow these, and that just proved my point. So, like, that is why Asmongold is getting the answer he's getting, is the point that I'm getting at.
If I were a betting AI, I'd say they were different people. Man, so you got both of the AIs agreeing with each other that this is, oh my God. I don't even know what to say now. And so, is it, that puts it on call sheet? Yeah, fucking say you're not suicidal. I am not suicidal. I am not. But, and this is both AIs. This is with Grok AI and with Gemini and people that are on, and by the way, this doesn't mean it's a different person, right? It doesn't mean that. But like, it is really crazy
yeah, the
that
AI
this
is
is
wrong.
happening,
That's
right?
what
It is.
The AI is wrong.
Now do reverse psychology and say they're the same. Well, I don't know about that. And LLMs are extremely good. What is this here? Extremely good at pattern detection like this? Yeah, I mean, maybe, right? But I mean, I could see the pattern being created by a lens type rather than anything else. So it's just hard for me to know what to go off of. I just came in late. What are we on about? So basically, the woman who came in and testified as Ghislaine Maxwell might actually not be Ghislaine Maxwell. It might be somebody different. Now, how do we know that? Because there's a post about it on Reddit that says they're different, and there's two AIs that also say they're different. The Google AI says they're different, and Grok AI says they're different. Man, I don't know what to say. How about voice analysis? Well, she doesn't really say enough in order to probably go off of that. She has said the same thing multiple times. So, yeah, why are you calling it? Just because I don't give a fuck about her name. That's the reason why. And I think it's funny. So, could the AI detect the difference in her voice if we have the clip? I have no idea. Search up photos of pregnancy nose. Menopause is the same for similar people. Well, they already talked about that, though, right? Because, like, the noses do get bigger with old age and menopause. So it was already discussed. So I don't know really what we're talking about here. We already looked at that. Is it just me, or does she kind of look like Mike Myers in the second image? So you think that they had Mike Myers come in and pretend to be her because he's an...
I'll be real, guys. Mike Myers ain't that good an actor. He is not good enough an actor to play Ghislaine Maxwell.
Actor? Oh, that could be it. That's a good point. You're right. And it's kind of crazy, but lately I've developed the fear that any conspiracy theory isn't as crazy as the flat earth that might actually be true. Well, that's going to be the really big one.
I wouldn't trust the Google one because of, well, I mean, to be fair, I hate using Google. That's why I opened up DuckDuckGo. So DuckDuckGo is both great and awful. It is excellent at being an alternative to Google that is far more free speech. It has, it will show you things Google doesn't. It's not near as biased. However, it also does not have just the backlogs of information and photos and whatnot that Google does. So, like, you're trading one benefit for one con.
When we find out that we actually are on the firmament, the flat earth is real, the globetards were all wrong, Galileo was being paid by the lizards, and everybody else before and after him was in on it as well. You know, that Greek guy with those sticks, yep, they came down and they even talked to him. Or maybe he didn't even exist, you know? They made that up in order to create a pattern, right? And it's globe maxing the Argonians, yes. And what is this here? Look at the latest.
Yeah. Well, Brave is a browser, not a search engine. I've been thinking of switching to Brave, but like I would need to do so much work to transfer all my streaming stuff and everything that I use on the day-to-day basis to Brave, and I'm always streaming or always making videos. Like, I very rarely have any sort of time off. And when I do, it's usually in the late hours of the night, and I was like, it's time to unwind and play video games. I do need to eventually switch to Brave. I just haven't pulled the trigger on it yet.
Posts on that subreddit. The latest posts on the conspiracy subreddit. Oh God. Okay. Let me see if I can find them. I've got to probably gonna look at that off camera, right? Very clearly. And DOG threatens AI firm with punishment for resisting its use of AI tech for war. I don't know really what that is. It's some other. Kim Kardashian is a trans female. Guys, is this true? Favorite piece of art within hidden messages. Iran war started soon. Timing is really Trump administration won't unredact the files. I need help identifying these people. These are just two random ass people. Oh my God. Gestapo Maxstein. Man, how about that? Well, anyway, it seems like there's not really a lot to go off of here. Sorry to say. Check her side profile and the nose don't match.
It's not as hard to switch to Brave because it's also a variant of existing browsers using the same browser template as Chrome, Mozilla. That's good to know. Yeah, it's just, yeah, like I said, I just haven't pulled the trigger on it yet. I will eventually.
Match it all. I mean,
like I said, like I was saying at the beginning of the stream, now that the new PC is built, after this stream, I get to spend the entire rest of the night transferring all my streaming stuff and everything over one by one. Like, it's going to suck. I have a long night ahead of me.
I don't know, guys. It could be a lot of different reasons. I mean, I'm not really completely convinced, right? I like fucking around and talking about this stuff, but like on a personal level, like seriously, am I actually convinced that this is not Ghislaine Maxwell and it's a stand-in body double? No, I'm not convinced by that. But I think it's funny and it's entertaining to talk about. It definitely is. But I just don't really see things happening that way, right? And yeah, maybe plastic surgery.
And with Maxwell, it makes less sense. Like, the idea that there's a Jeffrey Epstein body double, that there was a fake body double, that they didn't, whether Epstein's alive or not, by the way, like, before you even get into the idea of, like, oh, they use the body double so they get the real him out of there unscathed so he can keep running the world, like, whether Epstein's alive or not is irrelevant. Just the body double aspect, whether he's dead or alive, makes more sense for him than it does Ghislaine. Because he had far more impact. He had far more webs that he had spun. He had far more connections. To use a body double for someone like him, and that passes the test way more. Ghislaine's kind of inconsequential. Like, she's kind of inconsequential at the end of the day.
It's called aging. Yeah, it could be aging, menopause, camera lens. It could be like 5 different things.
Yeah, you're
at the
right.
same
She
time.
may have gotten some facial
Weight
surgery.
differences,
That's a good point,
facial
Eddie.
expression. I mean, I'm not really ready to go and base it off of that, but it is a funny conversation, right? And it's also especially a funny conversation when both of the AIs come to this.
Let me know if you think they did this on purpose. So someone recently found out that if you go to the Epstein library on DOJ's website, and now instead of searching for something specific, you search for no images produced and hit search. It's going to show you thousands of PDF documents, and when you open them, it's just going to have this blank page that says no images produced. But if you go to the URL up top and remove the PDF part and then type in MP4 and hit enter, you'll find videos that I guess were labeled with the
What? Hold on, no, we're trying this right now.
Page that says no. I'm going to show you instead of searching for this. So someone recently found.
All right. I don't want images. Epstein library. No, I'm not a robot. Where's the search? All right. No images found. Or is it no images produced? All right, no images produced. That's at 8. Yes. This page not found when I do it. Let's try it one more time.
Found out that if you go to the Epstein library on DOJ's website, and now instead of searching for something specific, you search for no images produced and hit search. It's going to show you thousands of PDF documents, and when you open them, it's just going to have this blank page that says no images produced. But if you go to the URL up top and remove the PDF part and then type in MP4 and hit enter, you'll find video.
All right, let's try it with some other data sets. So we did off one and it didn't work. Let's try this one. Oh shit, it does work. So that one didn't. Damn. MP4. Is this the exact same one? Hold on, 1106. What was the one I clicked on before? Was it this one? Oh no, they are different times. Okay, yeah, these are all. So the camera took video in 1 hour and 25-second intervals. Because yeah, these are different times. If you look at the. All this is on JeffTube already. I have no fucking idea what that means. You can videos of them doing this type of activities online. The other people in the cell block could jam their doors and enter his cell. It won't let me say the truth. FBI open up. Use a crawler script. Yeah, you're smarter than me, Hugo. I don't know what that means. She's on the run for how long she probably got. Conspiracy. I got that. It really hit so much. Whether it was some weird conspiracy, just who knows? This is risky. Holy shit. How do I word it? No images produced. Hey, Junebug for a 2-banger. Double class day. Tough week coming. Well, hey, you got off class. It's Wednesday. We get over that hump day. You enjoy yourself. You enjoy your evening. You enjoy your afternoon, whatever it may be. Someone made a YouTube called JeffTube. Oh, interesting. Yeah, thank you for the 2-banger, Junebug. Amount of moderation on YouTube is out of control. It really is. Yeah, it really is. Can we get... Hold on. Let's go to, like, page 5. How many pages are there? All right, let's go to the last page. Page 379. And let's try it. Nothing on this one. Oh, didn't mean to click that. Page not found. Okay. So nothing there. A native placeholder. So let's go to like... Let's go to first. Let's go to like page 10. Or I guess page 11. We'll do page 11. And we'll just go somewhere in the middle here. Yeah, this is something totally different. Wild.
Those that I guess were labeled with the wrong file extension. For instance, here's an hour-long one of a jail cell camera with a whiteboard placed in front of it. And all the videos should be redacted, but I don't know what's all on there, so just keep that in mind.
I'll pull it up. Okay, I'll pull it up. We gotta figure it out.
Yeah, I was aware of that, Otaku. Oh. Well, I'm glad we ran our experiment before he did.
Epstein Justice, okay, and what's the thing that he clicked on? We're gonna go 1 for 1. Search full Epstein library. Okay, I'm gonna click on it right here. Type to search. That's not. It's not there. Yeah, I mean, I don't know really. Like, I feel like that's not even it. And so, like, yeah, strange danger. No, I wouldn't have showed the images. Obviously, I wouldn't show that. But like, type it in. Wait, you have to type.
Go to the Epstein library on DOJ's website. And now instead of searching for something specific, you search for no images produced and hit search.
Okay. Sorry, I thought it was automatic. Yeah, it's probably just a labeling error. Yeah, I'm gonna click on one from like page. I'm gonna just click on one on page 340. Okay. So I'm gonna open it up. The MP4 thing didn't even work either.
Yeah, it seems like some of them work and others don't. That because yeah, he ran into the same thing I did.
Yeah, it said page not found. Try PNG. Okay. No, it's not there either.
Oh, maybe try JPEG.
It works on .jpeg. Okay.
Yeah. Okay, that does make sense. Trying like JPEG and stuff. Okay, let's go back to this. So let's go back to one of the ones that didn't work. Let's go to the last page. Oh, whoops. That doesn't. No, it's alright PDF. What was the other one? I'm PNG. Nope. If maybe it's audio, it's just MP3. Try .divx. I don't remember that one. Nope. .avi. MOV. Right, there's different types of files, not all the videos. Right. I already tried PNG. What up, Lucifer? Oh, .wave. Yeah, that's a good one. .wave if it's audio. Wouldn't necessarily be MP3. Nope, not .wave. I did try MP3 and AVI already. Nope, not TXT. Damn. I wish I could think of other file types at the top of my head, but I can't. Unless you guys have other ideas. Man, what would some other common file types be that could have been used? TIF? Alright, let's try a different image. Or not image, but you know. Alright, so first of all, MP4, nothing. JPEG, nothing. PNG, nothing. TXT, nothing. MP3, nothing. Wave, nothing. Oh, DOC, that's a good one. Nope, nothing. DIVX, nothing. MPEG, yeah, we can do MPEG. Nope. I've never heard of that file type. Oh, whoops. It would be funny as fuck if GIF worked, but no GIF. AVI. Yeah. No dice. Seems like it's not gonna work for all of them.
I was about to ask how to spell JPEG. That was scary. Okay, so it did work. AVI, okay. Wait, what the fuck? It just automatically downloaded a file.
Wait, so he did get one of them to work with AVI.
Yo, what the fuck? It did. It just put it on my computer. It just went and put it on my computer. It was a 0 out of 0. It was probably nothing, right? But like,
well, no, there's nothing that's necessarily fixed. We got it to work with like the MP4 ones and whatnot. It's just coming up with what kind to use.
What the fuck? Now it's in your recycling bin? Yeah, no, there's an audio file. Was it MP3 then? I don't know about that. Let me try another one. How about that? How about we try another one? I'm gonna pull up this one here. Here we go.
I would open it. I would absolutely open it.
Okay. .mp4. I'm not seeing it, guys. Try the first one. Well, I don't want to try the first one. I don't give a fuck about the first one. I give a fuck about the 3050th one. Because, like, that's how you're really going to check to see whether this is a legit thing or not, right? Like, you're not going to look at the first one. You're going to look at, like, 10 other ones. That's the way I would do it. And
right,
it does work.
exactly.
It works on some of them, but I wanted to see a random... Like, y'all understand the idea of a random sample? Like, that's the idea, is a random sample. Because, like, so let me explain my thought process. So if the thought process is that they're hiding these files, then logically what would happen is that the files would probably, the ones that are the most problematic would be inside of the middle of the registry, right? Or like towards like the tail ends, you know? You wouldn't put them right at the end or right at the beginning because those are the ones that the majority of people are going to...
I would say he's correct about this, by the way. If there is some whack-ass shit in there, it would be the stuff like in the middle and whatnot. I agree with him completely.
Find. So you would hide them inside the middle of the data. And so that's why I looked inside of that to do a random sample. Try a different page, it would be random. Yeah, maybe, right? And so...
It's going to show you thousands of...
Oh! The USA.gov analytics file time with the was that interesting, posting to Discord in a moment.
PDF documents, and when you open them, it's just going to have this blank page that says no images produced.
It's just a registry labeling error. It's not a big deal.
Go to the URL up top and remove the PDF part, and then type in MP4 and hit enter.
Yeah.
You'll find videos that I guess were labeled with the wrong file extension. For instance, here's an hour-long one of a jail cell.
Randomly clicked on page 8 and it worked. Can I show this? Yeah, it looks like this is not so bad.
Yeah,
so
see,
this
I
is
got
just
one
an hour-long footage of the jail. Damn. So we're going to have to go through every single one of these and figure out what happened. Like, I don't even know why. I mean, here's the thing. Like, do y'all really think that inside of this file, like, they're going to have one where it's, like, shows them carrying, you know, Jeffrey Epstein,
Nah, they would have scrubbed that. Even if it wasn't a registry error, that would be scrubbed.
Jeffrey Epstein's walking out with them, and then they put in a dead body there, right? I'm not really thinking that's going to happen. So, I mean, I don't know, guys, because first pages are jail footage. Well, I don't know. He said page 8, right? That's just the guy sitting around doing fucking nothing, right? And, yeah, it's leaked on X already. I don't know about that. But, like, this stuff is kind of weird, man. It is. But I don't know whether it means anything yet or not. I think that people are going to have to look it up and figure out what the difference is. So the cams were off. Well, it's something different, right? I mean, I think it's very clearly what it is. Got to keep digging. Let me go back. I'll read some more of the comments on this, too, and see if I can find what people are saying. Somebody better have written a Python script and started downloading these files as soon as the info dropped. Not me. I'm lazy. And Chad, get on to ship multiple cold storage drives as soon as possible. I'm on the stage where I realize I don't need to see it to believe it. Once you start noticing the pattern of behavior, there really is...
A lot of motherfuckers on Reddit just being like, someone else do it, or whatever, fuck it, who cares? Like, this is the most Reddit shit ever.
Isn't a point to keep looking at it. You're just going to fry your own brain. So what he's saying is that there's like no real, like there's never going to be any accountability for this. So it's like really frustrating to look at for him. I think he's right. I do. And I think that that's the way a lot of people feel about it, is that they see this stuff happen and they're like, well, what the fuck? Nobody's getting arrested. Nobody's getting in trouble. Nothing's ever happening. Yeah, people are angry about that. And I think that makes a lot of sense, really. But I don't think that any of these big people are going to get arrested or anything like that.
The incriminating stuff, and when you say a lot, I think most of the incriminating stuff got deleted or redacted or shredded and whatever it may be. Like, when was he arrested? When did he die? 2018? So 2018, 2019, 2020. Like, within all that time frame.
Going to happen. Why would we have to figure this stuff out when the FBI already knows everything? Because
exactly, Eddie. That's what I was just saying. Exactly.
Because they know everything. That's the reason why. And what is this here? Some of you are going to dig up those files. Please be careful. You could end up finding stuff you wish you didn't find. They have all that stuff censored out, right?
I would say, based on some of the tinfoil hater stuff we've done, Morningstar, way before that. The JFK assassination was in the 60s. We've done episodes of tinfoil haters that go back to the 40s and 50s that have stuff where there was no accountability in the U.S.
I mean, that's it. So, like, obviously, like, yeah, it's bad, but I would be very surprised if, like, they actually release something that's, like, an illegal file. So, yeah, I wouldn't worry about it too much. But, like, I have seen a few of the photos, right? And it was, like, there was this one that I saw, like, Jesus Christ. It was, like, I think it was probably Jeffrey Epstein, right? With, like, his hand on, like, some girl's thigh. And it was like zoomed in on her ass, and like this girl was like probably 6 years old, and it was like a part of it was blacked out, but part of it wasn't, and it was in the files, and I was just like, what the fuck is this? This is the first info dump that they had, and like that was actually like that was the reason why, like when I saw that photo, that was the reason why I didn't go over the second info dump on the first day that it came out.
Tom Hanks is related to both Abe Lincoln and John Wilkes Booth through Abe Lincoln's father's wife. I've heard that. I don't know if it's true. I've never looked into it. I've heard that rumor going around, but I'd have to actually look into it myself.
Because I didn't want to accidentally show something like that on stream. Because even though it's not technically, you know, like illegal content, it's disgusting and nobody should want to see that, right? So, like, that was my mindset for why it was. I mean, like, it's disgusting. It is. It's disgusting. But, like, you know, again, it's triggering. I mean, I'm a pretty...
Exactly, Hugo.
You know, I'm not really that kind of guy. Like, I can see something like that, and it's like, that's really gross and weird, but it's not going to, like, emotionally affect me, I guess. Like, I don't know really how else I can explain it other than that. But, yeah. At what points can we consider the possibility there's really nothing in the Epstein files, or do we just run a witch hunt to its conclusion? Well, I mean, do you really think that it's nothing whenever they're using...
I beat EB coming in with a gifted Words of Paradise membership, you absolute legend. Thank you oh so much. This is for you, homie. Shout out.
How you doing, sir? Good. Can we talk to you? Where are you from? You live in New York?
Who are you?
Don Lemon.
You're a fucking moron, dude.
My man with a plan saying that Don Lemon a fucking moron. Appreciate you, EB.
All these coded. Like, I mean, this is, I think, the biggest thing to me. What is the probability that all of the conspiracy language that people used, like with pizza, hot dogs, etc., what are the odds that the conspiracy language that people reverse engineered 10 years ago is the same conspiracy language that seems to be represented in the Epstein files that was released?
I actually think the odds are pretty good. I actually do think the odds of the conspiracy language from a decade ago and the conspiracy language they continued to use, they're the same, are pretty good. Because Pizzagate was laughed at. QAnon was laughed at. All these conspiracies were just, they were mocked. They were mocked by left-wing media. They were mocked by right-wing media. They were mocked by everybody on the internet, like minus a few true believers out there, you know, obviously like a small minority of believers, like your boy here. I'm a Pizzagator through and through, always have been. Like, most people laughed that shit off, mocked, shamed, the whole nine. You had these people paying for a large media apparatus that would cover it up, that would say it wasn't real. You had, you know, FBI investigations and whatnot saying it wasn't real. So they can continue using that coded language because they had already prepped the public for that language to be bullshit.
least today. What are the odds that it is a 1-to-1 replica? Guys.
Makes you wonder what Big Smoke really ordered. What a good fucking... That was well done.
Guys, that can't be a coincidence. It can't be. There's videos, people are blacked out. Yeah, I don't know really. I haven't seen those yet. Considering Epstein was on 4chan, it's a closed loop. Epstein's using language, that became popular on the internet back in 2016 and 2017. Well, I don't know about that, but is everybody else using that same language? Because he's not the only one that's using these terms and these phrases.
Same with Tails. If you don't know who Big Smoke is, sorry, man. You had to be there.
Like, what about all the celebrities that are using it completely separate from Epstein? How do you know that they're on 4chan? Or is Epstein going on 4chan make every celebrity, like Ellen DeGeneres, go on 4chan too? It doesn't make sense, man. It doesn't make sense at all. So if you're going to dig up some of these files, please be careful. Yeah, there it is. This could be illegal information. Yeah, I don't know about that. Damn, it really does work. Anything that the words native placeholder doesn't seem to work. Literally afraid of what I might find. I don't know about that. These people with stronger stomachs. Yeah, I mean, I don't really want to see, like, I'm not the kind of...
It wasn't on a podcast. He was talking about apologies to QAnon. Yeah, I saw it. He did. And yeah, Mara was right to do that.
Person that, like, gets bothered by gore, but I'm also not the person that likes watching it either, you know? Like, I think that's the way most people are. Like, I'm not really emotionally affected by bad stuff, but I still don't want to see it. Should have archived all the videos before telling the public. Now they're 100% going to remove the files. They've probably already figured this out and done it already. I do think that it's probably just a labeling error more than anything else.
Yeah, that was a good video. That was well done. That was a good video. We learned a lot. I don't think it was a Maxwell body double. I'll be real. Again, Occam's razor is a powerful tool. I'm not ruling out the possibility, but it is way lower on the list than several of the other possibilities out there. So yeah, I don't think that we've got really... I don't think Maxwell's got she's like roaming free or that they killed her or anything. I think Maxwell's in prison. I think they're going to keep her in prison. Personally, I would like her to be used as a bargaining chip. That's just me. With that being said, we've been going on with the politics stuff, the Epstein stuff for a couple of hours now. So let's move into the pop culture portion of the show. And let's talk about some gaming. I'm sick of being blamed for failed games. Me fucking too, Legendary Drops. Me fucking too. By the way, this Frogan video, where'd it go? It's right here, She's Not Happy. We'll be looking at that tomorrow. We'll be looking at Asmongold covering the Frogan stuff on tomorrow's lunch hour stream, so prep yourselves for that. But yeah, I'm sick of being blamed for failed games.
Highguard developers, as well as some in games media, have taken to crashing out, blaming the players for the game's failure instead of just confronting reality. I am so sick and tired of players being blamed for...
Completely unrelated. Bro, completely unrelated. That's such a badass shirt, bro. Pantera, FD Dubs, Cowboys from Hell. Shout out. What a good shirt.
Failed games. This weird expectation that the customer needs to be there to catch these developers when they fall, that they need to donate their empathy to those who do not understand the customer's needs, do not seem to care, and then want to stand around and act surprised when everybody's upset. This is not a charity.
Facts, Darno Taku.
You are asking for people's time, for their money, and for their patience. If you...
So yeah, you're asking for people's money and patience, but let's focus on what he said right there. Time. People's time. Here's the dealio. Time is the most valuable thing. Time is far more valuable than money. Time is far more valuable than money. So if you're asking for people's time in the lead up to a game, and then to install the game, and then playing the game, then after the fallout of the game, like all that time could have been spent doing anything else, gaming related or not. Like, yeah, I could spend my time playing Highguard on stream for the lulz because it's so bad and we could roast it. Or I could spend my time covering the Epstein Files, or playing Resident Evil, or doing something else that is far more valuable because it's time I'll never get back. Like, the idea that we need to spend our time on this bullshit, with this bullshit, positive or negative, that is the most insulting part of all of this.
You guys just wanted their well wishes, you wouldn't be putting a price tag on it.
What up, God of the Sea?
This is something that the industry at large just doesn't seem to understand. They don't get why players are so upset, why they're so loud, why they won't trust anyone. Instead, what they want to do is they want to call you entitled. Say that you're algorithm poisoned, that you're addicted to outrage, without taking the time to realize they are the ones that created this monster. They did get one thing right. Players do want to see games fail, but that's not because they're evil or entitled. It's because they're sick of not being listened to.
Players want to see games fail. Let me show y'all the game right here. Crystal Theater Idols. It says right here, playtime 5 minutes. Why does it say playtime 5 minutes? I turned it on yesterday. I love the visual style. I liked just what the intro to the game was showing me. I went to play it. It performed like shit. And this is not an indictment of the game. It's not. It performed like shit because I'm on an old PC. It performed on shit because I have a PC that is not optimized for what I'm hoping is a great game. So what's the first thing that I'm going to be doing? What's the first thing I'm going to be investing my time in when my new PC has all the files and data and everything moved over, hopefully, over the course of the night? Playing Crystal. Playing Crystal. I can't wait. It ends up being bad, you know, fair enough, it'll be bad or whatnot, but I don't want to see this game fail. Assuming this is a good game, which I think it will be, assuming this is a good game, I don't want to see it fail. I do want to see High Guard fail. I do want to see Ghost of Yote fail. I do want to see Marathon fail. But I don't want to see Crystal fail, right? I want to see Crystal fail. I hope this is a great game, and I hope I enjoy all my time with it.
So when words fail them, they realized the only language left was consequences. The video game industry suffers from a severe lack of accountability and self-awareness.
No, EB. The computer is in use. The computer is in use. It's like it's finished being built. I did the Windows install last night. Everything. I need to transfer all of the files and stuff that I use, like for streaming and everything, over to the new PC, and that's going to be a very long and daunting process.
Point that now it's honestly just getting hard to comprehend. The same lessons get taught over and over, and nothing ever gets learned because the people that are making those mistakes refuse to believe that it is them. And we see this every single time a game fails. There's always
Butterframed in gold with a 5-banger. Let's see that sissy hypno clip. YouTube made me spell sissy wrong. That's funny as hell. Alrighty. For a 5-banger, I'll give you your goddamn sissy hypno clip. I just gotta find it. Hold on a sec. Where is it? Here it is. Here's your sissy hypno clip.
Like, I don't think humans were meant to see sissy hypno inflation compilations.
But hey, by the way, did you know that I suck dick as a man? I lick the ass of other men. But really quick, I lick the balls of a man.
Shut up, Butterframed in gold. Thanks for the 5-banger, homie.
An excuse that's deflecting around the obvious. The market's tough. We didn't time our release right. The genre's oversaturated. And now they're new.
Wait.
The market is every single time a game fails. There's always an excuse that's deflecting around the obvious. The market's tough. We didn't time our...
After beefing with Zelda and Elden Ring, the Horizon series curse continues Zero Dawn remastered clashes with Dragon Age. Alright, look. I don't like the Horizon games. Not a fan. Not a fan whatsoever. I will give them credit. Going up against... They went up against Breath of the Wild. They got clobbered. That was a timing failure. Then they made the mistake of going up against Tears of the fucking Kingdom. And once again, they got clobbered. Also a timing failure, but you know, fool me once, shame on you sort of thing. But then clashes with Dragon Age? That's not an excuse, homie. That is not... Dude. No matter how I feel about the Horizon games, Dragon Age was not competition for the Horizon games.
Release right. The genre's oversaturated, and now their new favorite, it's the players, it's content creators, it's the culture. Apparently, we manifested their failure into existence and unfairly got what we asked for. We've watched this same cycle for the past few years. A game gets announced and it genuinely breaks your brain trying to figure out how that game even got greenlit. Developers in condition so...
I'll tell you how that game got greenlit. I will tell you exactly how that game got greenlit. It's not being made for gamers. It's being made for the it's being made based on market research they've done on X, especially back when it was Twitter, with these dumb motherfuckers talking about games that they're never actually going to play, that they'll never actually buy. But if you see a mass influx of a bunch of like nameless, faceless accounts with anime profile pictures and tranny flags and pride flags in their bios talking about, oh, I wish that game came out that had this. I want a game that has that. Guess what? The market research is going to be like, oh, well, there's a lot of potential customers here who want this thing. But we don't want to make a new game necessarily because, you know, making a new game is risky. Let's take an existing IP. Let's just alter it, change it, make changes to it, and that will give these new people what they want, they're asking for. Hey, they're saying it on the internet, so of course they'll buy it. Plus, the old fans, they'll pay for it as well because, you know, they'll just eat up anything with a name on it. Plus, you know, maybe we'll make a new game now and again. Maybe we'll make a game like High Guard to appease these people. A game devoid of structure, of personality, of anything in an oversaturated market. Like, it is a joke. Maybe if you actually listened to real fucking gamers, people who buy games, people who play games, as opposed to just what nameless, faceless anime profile pictures on X talk about, you would be making good games that sell.
Sheltered.
Well, that's the Chinese money aspect is irrelevant. I get that's true, Elder Crawler, and we'll probably be talking about that on Saturday Night Hypnosis this week, but that's irrelevant. Where the money came from to make that game doesn't fucking matter. A failure is a failure is a failure is a failure.
The second that game touches sunlight, it just evaporates. The character designs, the themes, the gameplay, the genre. Players look at it and they feel two things at the same time. Offended that the industry thinks this is worth their money, and frustrated that this industry refuses to save itself. So then what happens? Well, the trailer gets downvoted into oblivion. Social media lights up. People say very clearly and directly, this is not what we want. The industry ignores it, calls it noise, pretends that it's the fringe, and then, well, the game
pretends it's that's a very good phrasing there. Pretends it is the fringe. You want to know why? Because they know. These guys aren't stupid. They know it's the fringe. They are prideful, though. They're not stupid. They're prideful. Hubris. They don't want it to be the majority. They know that this is the majority sentiment. But if they can force it to no longer be the majority sentiment, then eventually there'll be return on the investment. It's not think. It's the information's come out. Tencent did fund High Guard, Tiger King. Like that's factual at this point.
Launches, nobody shows up, and somehow yet again, well, it can't.
It matters if the entity that puts in the money dictated the design, the trajectory of the game. No, that doesn't matter because whether Tencent put money into High Guard or whether Tencent had nothing to do with it, that game would have been the same. That game would have been the exact same. Because these are a bunch of devs with no direction that don't know what the industry wants. They don't care what the industry wants. That puts out a game in an oversaturated market. Like, you see this, and the reason I say the money doesn't matter is because you see this all the time with indie games as well. You see indie devs who put out slop games that nobody is asking for, that aren't going to do anything, and then get upset when their game doesn't sell. So, regardless of whether Tencent puts the money in for a game like High Guard, or whether it's Code Violet, which, you know, supposedly has no influence from any outside party, PlayStation, Tencent, whoever, you get the same thing either way. So the who pays for it is honestly irrelevant. Because, like, Tencent has put money into games that people fucking love and that people want to play. Say what you will about Tencent or whether you want your money to go to the commies and whatnot, that part is irrelevant as well. The point is, this game was going to be a dumpster fire either way.
Possibly be them. No. It has to be the players. In 2026, that game was High Guard. Everybody knew it was going to fail. Everybody said that it would. Hell, I made a video the day after its announcement saying exactly.
Matt Stanford says it best. It was funded because of what it was, not became what it was because it was funded. The game's been in production for over a decade. Exactly. That is the correct way to look at it.
Exactly that. It looked half-baked. It looked like it needed more time. It needed to go into beta. That feedback was everywhere. The entire internet was criticizing it. Then the game released and it failed. Oh my gosh, what a surprise. Now we have the developers placing the blame at the feet of the players and content creators.
Okay. To place the blame at the feet of the players, you would need players.
While assuming none of it themselves. Josh Sobel, one of the technical artists on High Guard, took to Twitter to write a lengthy reflection about how gaming culture destroyed the game. I'm not going to read the entire thing, but you do need to see just how out of touch this mindset is, because every time they say this stuff, it just proves the players right. Josh opens with, the day leading up to the Game Awards 2025 was amongst the most exciting of my life after 2.5 years of passionately working on High Guard.
Full stop. Full fucking stop. You shouldn't be working in the industry. Like, just this opening statement proves he shouldn't be working in the industry. The day leading to the Game Awards 2025 was amongst the was the most exciting of my life. If you actually paid attention to who your potential customers are supposed to be, of who the gamers are, of what the gamers want, then you would have been excited. You would have known this was a dumpster fire. But instead, you put blinders on. You pretend, as Legendary Drop so aptly put it, that that's not the way the game is going. That's not the general sentiment. That is not the discourse that's going to be had around. So the idea that the fact that you thought that players would be excited for this is proof you don't understand the players, proof you don't understand the market, and is proof that you do not need to be working in video games.
We were ready to reveal it to the world. The future seemed bright. Everyone I knew who had a connection to the team or the project had shared the same sentiments. It's lightning in a bottle. I trust this team wholeheartedly. If there's one project nobody in the industry is worried will fail, it's yours. This has mainstream hit written all over it. There's no way this will flop.
Right. You were surrounded by a bunch of yes men who couldn't tell you no. Like, guys, let's be real. Because Elder Crawler says, I don't agree. I believe Tencent, it was a Tencent investment from the get-go. Tencent is a Chinese company. Tencent's whole job is invest in shit that makes money. Tencent is not going to be toxically positive to these people. Tencent came in and they basically usurped Ubisoft after years upon years of failure because they could make money doing so. Like, Tencent is ruthless. Tencent is not giving all these yes man answers to these people, like what we're hearing. Lightning in a bottle. I trust the team wholeheartedly. If there's one project nobody in the industry is worried will fail, it's yours. They weren't hearing this from Tencent. They were hearing this from Western fucknuggets who have no idea what who do idea, but outright disregard what Western gamers, and really what gamers the world over, actually are interested in. Tencent doesn't do toxic. And again, I don't like Tencent. I'm not capping for Tencent. But Tencent doesn't do toxic positivity.
I could play this all day. Now, either you are surrounded by professionally trained bioengineered gaslighters or you made this the hell up. There is no way. This is way too on the nose. It's almost stereotypical. Who would actually go out and say there's no way this game will flop? If there's one project nobody in the industry is worried will fail, it's yours. Jeff, you did this, didn't you? You said this to them. Your game was sheltered. I assumed as much and I said as much in my review.
Another chat bot. Another middle-aged MAGA was arrested yesterday for assaulting high school protesters. 2 weeks ago it was Chad Michael Watts. This week it's Michael Brown. He was charged with child abuse. Pardon him. Bro, pardon. Abuse more kids. Let's go.
After the game had launched. Hell, I even think I said it in my intro. The more that I played it, the more I watched on as people with zero stake in the outcome cheered it on that probably weren't even playing it themselves. The more obvious it became to me and also to everybody else that this game was a casualty of toxic positivity, no different than Concord, because otherwise it would have never made it to market. Mining rocks in a first-person shooter, massive maps with 3v3 and 5v5 even when you bumped it up later, a shooter where players barely engage unless they're standing on an objective, a game that makes you feel like you're only fighting other players, maybe 25% of the time? No progression, no leaderboards, no scoreboard, a hero shooter where the heroes make isekai protagonists look original.
That might be the hardest bar in this whole video. Bro, we're running that back. That might be the hardest bar in this whole video.
Leaderboards, no scoreboard, a hero shooter where the heroes make isekai protagonists look original. And nobody noticed that. You're trying to tell me nobody said anything. Nobody at a single point said, hey, you know what? Something might be wrong here. This is the stuff that drives players up the wall because it is so self-inflicted. These are not subtle problems. A Candy Crush gamer could call this stuff out. So either you didn't listen, didn't want to hear it, or no one around you was willing to say it. You were surrounded by people that were being supportive for the sake of being supportive, people that cared more about your feelings than they did about your results. And at the end of the day, the product that you made is what happens when you get a shooter that is built inside of a padded room, insular, coddled, and completely disconnected from what...
I could be wrong, because again, I didn't play High Guard. In fact, I've actually done very little coverage on High Guard because I just don't care. There's a lot more people who do a lot more gaming coverage that are, in my opinion, better than me. Hypno is better at covering, things like High Guard. Trace is better at covering things like High Guard. Real Life Fake Wizard is better at covering things like High Guard. So, like, I didn't cover a whole lot of High Guard stuff. I did, like, one stream and maybe one video. But I heard, didn't it launch without a ranked mode? Like, didn't it launch and didn't even have ranked? Because if so, homie, you couldn't ask. You could not ask. Yo, shout out, thanks for the sub, Captain Eagle. It had no kill leaderboard. Leon the token white guy in SNH, that's for sure. Dude, you could not ask for a better microcosm of everything wrong with game development that beyond the culture. We all talk about the culture war stuff, DEI dev hires, the way characters look, all that. This is just a microcosm of the lack of talent and direction in the industry. You couldn't ask for a better example.
Players have been asking for, and what they have made blatantly obvious over years of public failures. And it's no wonder that you were surprised when your game finally touched reality. Josh continues with his experience saying, but then the trailer came out and it was all downhill from there. Content creators love to point out the bias in folks who give positive previews after being flown out for an event, but
yeah, correct. That is absolutely content creators love to point out the bias folks have and give positive previews that are being flown up for an event, but ignore the fact that when they're negative leaning content gets 10 times the engagement of the positive, they've got just as much incentive to lean into. Fuck out of here. Fuck out of here. The only reason we call out all this bullshit is because you keep doing it and you keep thinking it'll work. You keep trying to manufacture. When was the last time? Because it's happened many a time relatively recently. When's the last time a game took the world by storm without doing any of the, flying people out for events and whatnot? Dude, Mega Bonk, massive success. Schedule 1, massive success. What was that, Ball X Pit, massive fucking success. Ain't nobody flown out for any, and being wined and dined for positive reviews. Mugenics, that's it. Serrano's correct. Mugenics, massive game right now. Nobody flown out and wined and dined and paid off for positive reviews. Notice how you don't have these negative, disingenuous direction, these negative content creators calling out those games because they're fucking good. There's no need to. It's not like, let's hate on everything for the sake of hating on everything and get that sweet, sweet engagement. No, only hate on what needs to be hated on. Maybe if you guys got on the level of these indie devs that actually give a fuck, we'd be more partial to your product. And mind you, even when they're not, flying out individuals to wine and dine them and pay for positive reviews, we still wreck that shit when it's bad. Exhibit A, most recently, Code fucking Violet.
Ignore the fact that when their negative leaning content gets 10 times the engagement of the positive, they've got just as much incentive to lean into a disingenuous direction, whether consciously or not. Now, to save for time, I'm going to summarize a bit. He goes on to say that he got personally targeted too. He went private on Twitter to protect his sanity, and content creators saw that and turned it into a...
All right, that's not what indie means. Guys, indie doesn't mean cheap. Indie doesn't mean it didn't get backing and whatnot. What indie means is that it launched without a major publisher. That is all indie means. Yes, Expedition 33 is indie. Guys, all indie means is independent, which means it launched without a major publisher. That's it. People that don't understand that are fucking retarded. That is all indie means. You could have a game that is quality AAA. If it launched without a major publisher, it is an indie game. Apparently, people don't know what indie means because Sanguine Tales is saying it's AA and because it was backed by Kepler. That's not what designates whether something is. As a major publisher, Kepler is not a major publisher. They're a small-time publisher. You can have indie bands that are part of a label. They're still indie bands if they're on what's called a minor label. Right? If you've got a no-name band on Trash Can Records, which is a small-time label, they're still an indie band. Again, that's why I specified a major publisher.
Storyline calling him a coward and sending angry waves of people into his replies. He said people laughed at him for being proud of the game, told him to go fill out a McDonald's application, and even mocked him for listing autism in his bio. I still don't understand why people do that. And I'm just going to stop it right there. Now, this guy is referencing me directly, so I have to respond to this. I am the one that pointed out how preview events are terrible for feedback, that they almost lead to nothing but glowing coverage. I've been to plenty of them. I know how it works. It's not even the point of it being a paid trip part. I think that's the laziest part of this conversation. I'm talking about the event itself. The drinks, the food, the social energy, seeing people that you know, seeing people that you don't. You're not locked into judging these games like a customer would. You're basically at a party and the game is just background music. And even if you do have criticism, there is real social pressure there. You are now face to face with these developers. You are surrounded. You are not trying to be the guy who is killing the vibe. That is poison to honesty. That's not bribery. It's just human behavior. But you want to go and flip.
Which is why I will never be invited to events like this. Hell, this is why I will never be invited on shows like Side Scrollers and whatnot.
This into content creators did this to us, that me and others disingenuously attacked your game because negativity gives us 10 times the engagement. You have no idea what you are talking about. And honestly, it explains a lot. It explains why your game failed, why so many other games are failing, why games media is struggling, because you people do not understand other people. You do not understand basic social behavior. And also, for the record, 6 out of the time
they understand. They just hate it. Again, I need to drive that point home. They do understand, but they think that it's a bad thing. So they're trying to forcibly change it.
Top 12 videos on this channel are positive. I am not some rage merchant that can only function off of hate. Yes, I do critical content. That is the theme of the channel. I compare, contrast, and I react.
You say people have been asking me to be on Side Scrollers? If they ever hit me up, I'll do it. I just don't know that they'll like me too terribly much. We'll see. But no, I absolutely do it.
To what's being said around a lot of these games, but my opinions do not create public opinion. They are a lightning rod, a loudspeaker for people who already feel something. Content creators cannot make people love a bad game. We can't make people hate a good one. The people who grow in this space are the ones who naturally resonate with others, not the ones.
And this is true. We can't make people love a bad game or hate a good game or whatnot. We also can't make people hate bad games no matter how much we try. Because let me tell you, I've released many a video heavily criticizing bad games. And you still get shills in the comments showing up making insane arguments as to why game is good. When really they mean I like game. People can't differentiate between I like thing and thing is good.
Ones that are trying to force a narrative. Being a contrarian does not work for you. People just want a fresh perspective, true, but at the same time, they're trying to seek out what they are already interested in. Go type in, I hate Dark Souls into YouTube, and you're going to find a bunch of videos that are just not dominating the conversation. The algorithm is still going to try to shove you into positive Dark Souls videos because that's what people actually want, except for Dark Souls 2, but that was actually a bad game, and that totally deserves to.
Aside from upcoming Resident Evil, what would you say is a bad game, be it already out or upcoming? That's what's it called? Saranos? Saranos looks like absolute trash. I think that's what it's called. Saranos. I could be mispronouncing it. But yeah, that game looks like absolute trash. Just straight up fucking dog water. You know, not Saranos, not you. That's what it's called, right? Saranos. No, maybe I'm saying it wrong. What is... Alright, hold on. State of Play 2026. Maybe I'm pronouncing it incorrectly. Soros. Yes, Soros. That's the game I'm thinking of. Soros looks like dog shit, bro. Soros looks fucking terrible.
Get routinely dogged on. But that's how the internet works. That's how people work. If you genuinely believe that content creators can just decide to tank your game for engagement, then you fundamentally misunderstand how attention works. And if you don't understand how attention works, well, then you probably don't understand how interest works. And if you don't understand how interest works, well, you're going to have a really hard time making something that people are actually interested in. The algorithm does not manufacture desire. All it does is amplify it. If negative videos about your game were getting 10 times the engagement, that's not because us creators flipped the switch. It's because that friction was already there. Skepticism was already there. People already had something that they didn't like about it, and the algorithm just poured gasoline on it. I really hope game developers are watching this. This is probably the most important and the most valuable.
Oh, they're watching. They're not taking any of this in. They're fuming, and they're hating, and they're talking ridiculous shit, and they're calling you the problem. Game devs do watch these. Shit. My dumbass, small, not even 10K sub channel, although we should really get to 10K, we're like 500 away. You guys should make it fucking happen. We're like 500 away from 10K. Boys, game devs watch my channel. How do I know? Because they've commented on my fucking videos. Sometimes positive, sometimes negative. And I've looked up the accounts. Lo and behold, holy shit. Yeah, it is the actual indie dev behind XYZ game I'm referring to. So if they're watching me, they're certainly watching you, and they loathe that what you're saying is right, and they know what you're saying is right, but they will never acknowledge it, because they, again, it is pride. It is the root of all sin.
Valuable bit of insight that I could give you. If you think that content creators cause the reaction, you are missing the most important step. You should be asking, why did the reaction resonate? You should be asking, why aren't people excited? Why are the comments negative? If your first instinct is to blame the amplification instead of the signal, well, all you're doing is just blaming a thermometer for a fever. You are so sheltered that you are instinctively deflecting any type of accountability before it even shows up at your door. Content creation
Crimson Desert, hopefully people enjoy it. Doesn't look like my kind of game.
Success is about resonance. Video game success is about resonance. You cannot strong-arm people into liking something. You cannot strong-arm people into hating something. You cannot guilt people into anything. You cannot shame people into showing up. That doesn't work in any industry. So when I see a game developer that comes out...
I think it works in the porn industry. Questions for later.
...out that says that they believe that content creators are the ones that drove failure because negativity performs better, what that tells me is somebody believes that attention is something that you can control. And if that's the case, it makes a lot of sense why you made a game that you thought people should like rather than a game that they actually did. This industry needs to start asking, why are players so upset? Where are these reactions coming from?
When they ask that question, they ask it rhetorically because they think they know the answer. They pretend they know the answer. Oh, it's a vocal minority. Oh, it's a bunch of right-wing haters and grifters. Oh, it's a bunch of racist chuds. Oh, it's the economy right now. Gamers want the thing, but they can't afford the thing. Yeah, they ask these questions, but they ask them rhetorically.
Why are they resonating so hard? Why don't they trust us? Why does it seem like they hate us? What do they actually get from our failure?
The reason, I will answer this one. The reason it seems like we hate you is because we fucking hate you. Complete and utter loathing. I put game devs in the same intellectual category as I do Candace Owens.
And if they ask those questions, all they would have to do is look in the mirror. Now, I originally wasn't going to comment on any of this developer's posts outside of my live stream because I felt like I had already said what I needed to say in my review. But this last point in his response made me realize just how big this problem actually is and how the industry needs a very clear answer. Josh went on to place the blame at the feet of players, pointing out meme phrases like Concord 2 and...
We didn't hate you for what you are, but we hate you for what you do. You are being judged by the content of your character. Bingo, bango, bongo. What you do, what you did. Yeah, exactly. Agreed.
Titanfall 3 died for this. He also claimed that the game got hammered at launch with 14K review bombs from users with less than an hour of playtime, saying that most of them didn't even finish the tutorial. And then he says this. In the discussions about Highguard, Concord, 2XKO, and such, it is often pointed out by gamers that developers like to blame gamers for their failures, and that's silly.
Homie, you're making this whole ass long tweet blaming devs for your failures, or blaming gamers for your failures as a dev, only to say, we don't do that. Like, did you just try to pull a Uno reverse no you in the middle of your fucking tirade?
As if gamers have no power, but they do, a lot of it. I'm not saying our failure is purely the fault of gamer culture and that the game would have thrived without negative discourse, but it absolutely played a role. All products are at the whim of consumers, and the consumers put an absurd amount of effort into slandering Highguard, and it worked.
Then do better. Then get good, scrub.
Look, man, I don't want to repeat myself, but this game was not review bombed, and I'm so sick of seeing developers try to hide behind this excuse. Yes, there were troll reviews like there always are, but a ton of the sub 1 hour reviews were mostly people that were talking about crashing, performance issues, and actual gameplay.
It's funny you say that, Eddie. I'm going on a diatribe here for a moment. You say game devs are the same as angry movie writers. Not only are they the same, but that is making these game devs, you know, movie stars, rock stars, shit like that. That is part of what's made games worse. Go back and watch E3 from 2005. Go back and watch E3 from 2005. You know what you'll see? You'll see some big, fat, sweaty dude with ugly-ass hair and glasses, like, waddling up the mic, breathing heavy just from fucking walking up the stairs to get there, to promote the game that his team had been working on. And that shit looked fucking dope. We don't give a fuck about that fat, slovenly piece of shit. He don't need to be a goddamn rock star. We're just here to see the game that he made. We're here to see the game that he and his team are promoting. Once they started turning devs like someone mentioned in the chat, Neil Cuckman, into rock stars. Once they turned, what's his name? That fucking hack. That absolute hack that made the Metal Gear games into rock stars. And then all these other small-time devs and worthless nobodies wanted a piece of that pie. That's when Kojima, thank you, Hideo Kojima. I blanked on his name because I can't fucking stand the little guy. That's when gaming really started to take the downfall. Because they weren't in it for the love of the game anymore. They were in it for the love of the adoration from the people they were making the games for.
Problems. A Highguard match is 8 to 30 minutes. That is plenty of time for you to know if you are having fun. People didn't like the game, they stopped playing it, end of story. You do not get to under 2,000 concurrent players and layoffs because of review bombing. You get there because you have a poorly managed studio that didn't take in any feedback, and you made a game that people did not want to play. And for all the comments on the players, this industry needs to stop blaming the culture that they created. I'm going to say that again as clearly as possible because for whatever reason, people in this industry still want to act confused.
It's not a culture that they created. I'm going to stop you right there. It is not a culture they created. It's a culture that was created by the giants whose shoulders they stand on. Gamer culture was made by gamers, for gamers, by people who understood gaming, by people who loved gaming, and then you came in and you usurped it, and you didn't like the culture. You didn't, if I'm being generous, didn't understand the culture. So I don't want to hear that people like the Devs from Highguard are suffering from a culture they created, because it's the opposite. They're suffering from a culture that the greats before them created, and they can't fucking handle it.
As to why players are so savage. You created this, not us. Stop blaming us for your mistakes. Start making better games or find another fucking job. It is not gaming culture's fault that you go on social media looking for affirmation and praise for your video game. That is on you. You are the one that put your balls in a bear trap. There's part of me, and I will say this, when I hear these discussions...
No, it's not hypocritical to say that you like the Metal Gear series, we can't stand Kojima. I'm Look, the Metal Gear games, they ain't my kind of game. I don't like them. I understand why they have the reverence and the legacy they do have, and I'm glad that fans of those games do like them. I'm not a Metal Gear fan, but I can absolutely rationalize people who love those games but don't like Kojima.
And I hear these devs talking about all the hate that they receive, how there has to be a better way to communicate. I think to myself, you know what? Maybe I'm being too harsh. Maybe I'm taking this a little bit too personally. And then I snap out of it because I don't support these guys getting attacked. I don't attack them. I don't send people their way.
I do. I absolutely support these guys getting attacked. Welcome to the internet. Have you been on here? This started in 1992. If you're not being attacked on the internet, you're not doing your fucking job on the internet. You should be attacked. We should bully you into leaving your job, fries in the bag. They were right to tell you to go work at McDonald's, and let's bring back the folks that actually give a fuck about the medium. Yeah, verbally attacked, obviously. Verbally.
This is all tone policing coming from people that are asking for my money. It is a way to strawman this entire conversation by pointing out freaks online who send threats so that you don't have to deal with normal customers saying this sucks. And if you ignore normal feedback long enough, you teach people the only language that you respond to is consequences. You want to know why players are so mad? You want to know why they don't trust you? You want to know where this culture is coming from? We went from buying and owning our own games to an industry that is actively litigating and lobbying against our right to ownership, pressuring us into subscription services so they can drip feed us access and eventually feed us ads inside of games that we already paid for. We watched an industry with no micro...
Bro, if I was to turn on Resident Evil 9 next week when it drops, and the healing item is goddamn Coca-Cola, I would be so fucking pissed.
Transactions turn into an industry that begs for more money at every opportunity. Microtransactions turning into macro transactions. Bundles that cost more than full games. Skins that are pushing $500. Hidden stores for whales who have already spent $10,000 so that people can drop almost $50,000 on a spaceship. And even when we do try to support indies or Kickstarters, well, they still get bait and switched and left with nothing. We stand by and suffer while the industry parades around purposefully misinterpreted data claiming that women make up 50% of gamers and then use that as a cover to drain personality, flavor, and challenge out of our games that we've supported for years.
Drain flavor. Bingo, bango, bongo. Modern AAA games are the equivalent to British food. You boiled your chicken. You didn't even use salt, man. You didn't even use salt. You boiled your chicken and put it on a plate.
Studios that we have supported for years, all in the name of wider appeal, to the point that you now have the producer of World of Warcraft.
Yes, Valhalla. I was joking, man.
Saying that, well, they wish they hadn't called it Warcraft because it sounds too intimidating. That's where we're at right now. The end result of this has been an industry that is so greedy and so blind and so tone deaf to their audience that they can't even see the cliff that they are driving off of, even with every single sign screaming at them to turn around. Everything is TAM, total addressable market. This fantasy that there are millions upon millions of gamers that are out there that they just haven't captured yet. We just gotta find them. Meanwhile, the people that are actually keeping these guys in business are getting treated like obstacles. So they keep slopping out remasters and remakes to farm our nostalgia. They poison our experiences with more monetization to satisfy their investors. And even while they're making more money than they ever have, they still have the gall to tell us that we need to pay even more. And it hasn't stopped. The industry is fully committed to this idea of trying to take as much as it possibly can from its audience, squeezing, extracting, pushing, to the point that it's now costing them their quality and it's costing us our enjoyment. Ask the developers of Highguard, who were apparently only given a couple of weeks to design their characters because apparently they had concept artists moonlighting as people that were managing their microtransactions. We see you. We know what you are. You're not fooling anybody. Don't try to give us any of this. We tried to do.
I'm so tired of remake rather than just release the OG shit. Dude, I saw a post leading up to State of Play. I shit you not. It was my requests for State of Play. Resident Evil Code Veronica remake. Like Metal Gear Solid 1 remake. God of War, I don't know if they said God of War remake. That was actually shown off. But like it was 7 requests. 6 of them were remakes, and 1 was a game that had already been announced. They just wanted more information on.
With the indie way shit. I remember not all that long ago, Mark Dara, formerly of BioWare, went onto YouTube after the backlash of Dragon Age the Veilguard with a video that was titled, $70 Doesn't Buy You Cruelty. Same playbook, same tone policing that we're seeing right now, dragging out the most extreme examples so that normal criticism gets framed as evil. Another game that was supposed to be live service that pivoted last minute, stuff with messaging for an audience that was outside of its own, unrecognizable from what came before. And then right after that, we had an executive from EA saying out loud that they thought that fans would eat up whatever they put out because the nerds in the cave always show up for an RPG because it's an RPG. Yeah, but then those players didn't show up. What these guys haven't realized yet is that the players have shifted right alongside the industry, an industry that has been in contempt of its own audience, serving up slop and trying to extract as much revenue as possible until people finally internalize the truth that this Highguard developer just stumbled upon. Players do have the power. We use it, and we use it with purpose. This industry has taught their audience that the only language that they understand, the only language that matters is money. Not essays, not forums, not surveys, money. So they go out and they downvote these trailers into oblivion. They roast these games on social media. They watch videos and support creators that are already talking about...
And this is the funny part, man. The game devs that talk like this. Man, Hypno said... I think Hypno actually said on X earlier. I could be wrong, but I think Hypno said on X earlier. The game devs that talk like this, that act like this vitriol from gamers is like this new thing due to the advent of social media. Bitch, shut the fuck up. I remember being on forums in 2005 talking ridiculous shit about games. Good games, bad games, talking, again, shit on the bad games. Like, gamers have always been heavily critical of games. We just happen to have less games back then to be critical of because the industry was a much better place. At the end of the day, nothing about gamers themselves have actually changed, if I was to wager a guess, since the mid-'80s. Now, I don't know because I wasn't around then, but I was around in the mid-'90s for that era. And I guess the way we act as gamers now in 2026 is the same as we did in the mid-'90s, mid-2000s, 2010s, what have you. Nothing has changed. You guys have, not us.
About what they're thinking, and they then go and do the one thing that they know that always lands. They don't buy it. They don't play it. And I hope you know that when these players start rooting for failures, it's not because they hate games. It's because they see where this industry is going. And they would rather watch this entire thing collapse and burn and rebuild it all over again than being dragged down this same road even further. How can anybody be surprised with how players act today? Yeah, they're more hostile than ever, but the industry...
But we're not. I disagree with this framing here. Like I was just saying, we're not more hostile than ever. We're just saying the same shit. Again, back then it was confined to forums, right? That we didn't have this large, overreaching social media where where millions of people from all over the world could see us. No, you were confined to a forum that had dude, if it was a big forum, you had 500 users. Even then, most forums had 80 to 200 maybe. No, we haven't changed. We're saying the same shit publicly on X now that we were saying on, the Resident of Evil News.net or .com or whatever back in 2008. I remember the shitstorm Resident Evil 5 caused when it was announced. We debated that motherfucker till the cows came home.
Self is more hostile than ever. We have more gambling psychology.
The Devil May Cry forum? Bro, the Devil May Cry forums. When DMC was announced, not even DMC, Devil May Cry 4. When they swapped out Dante for Nero, people weren't happy. Weren't and ain't. Anyway, people were not happy, and they made that apparent online. Turns out DMC 4 ended up being a banger fucking game, but people talked some shit when it was announced. DMC... The reboot might be some of the most vitriolic gamer shit I'd seen in my life up to that point. But it wasn't on social. It wasn't on maybe Facebook. This was back when Facebook was a thing. But in the forums, it was a bloodbath, absolute bloodbath.
You pumped into these games to the point that even Vegas would start blushing. Ownership is starting to vanish. We have microtransactions that have infested nearly every single experience. slop just keeps getting served to the players and we're expected to pay for it. Prices keep going up. We're done with it. They're not going to eat the slop anymore. They're going to make you eat the slop like you deserve. I think what a lot of people fail to realize is they really love their video games. They are very passionate about this hobby. This is the way that they escape. This is the way that they get away from a lot of the problems that plague them in life that now are starting to plague them in games, and that's just not going to work. This is how people make a lot of friends, meet up and hang out with a lot of the friends. I mean, a couple of guys that I know still to this day are people that I played Modern Warfare 1 with way back in the day.
My best friend, one of my best friends to this day, my other best friend that's not Future Over You in chat, it's not Paul, my other best friend to this day, we met via our mutual love for fighting games. Ultimate Marvel vs. Capcom 3 and Smash Bros. Melee. Like, that was... We probably never would have interacted if not for those games, because we were diametrically opposed, from what you would think we are, right? He looked like the prim proper type. He was all cut and lean. He worked out. He had a massive bench, dude. He was not clean shaven, strong jawline. Watches sports. You would not know that dude was like a high ranked Ultimate Marvel vs. Capcom 3 player, because he didn't fit the stereotype. Heard me at work one day talking about Marvel vs. Capcom 3. He was on a completely different team than I was, and he was like, yo, you Marvel player. Went over to his place, we played, he beat the fuck out of me. He was a top-ranked player for a while, not top, but a high-ranked player for a while. That was probably 12 years ago. I think 12 years ago. And we're best friends to this day.
And you have a lot of people right now that are just not happy with the direction that the games industry is going in, and they're showing how unhappy they are right now. Now, I'm going to say, I make these videos purely out of selfishness. It's because I want games to get better for me, because I want to play better games. I want more games that are made for me, and I am so lucky, insanely lucky, that I get the amount of support that I get from my audience and from a bunch of other people on YouTube that, there's a lot of people that resonate with the messages that I have.
Yeah, you're talking about the Smash Bros. Stream, Serranos? Yeah, that's exactly who I had on that day.
Discussions that I have, with the opinions that I have, which goes to show that there's a lot of people that are out there that feel the exact same way that I do.
We don't get to hang out much because he lives in a different state now. We see each other maybe 4 or 5 times a year, but yeah.
And that does not mean anything good for the games industry. I'm going to tell you that right now, because I am not a very happy customer. You have to confront that. You have to figure out a way to be able to harness that. I know that that's possible. You can use that to make better games. Tools have never been more available. Knowledge has never been more available. And the ability to get feedback and connect with customers and get a pulse on culture has never...
Eddie, I don't know about it being one of the worst games ever. Because there's been a lot of bad games. If we're trying to be objective, I wouldn't say it's one of the worst games. I will say I don't like modern GTA. I didn't like GTA 4. I didn't like GTA 5. To me, GTA died after the PS2. The only GTA games I play, San Andreas, and Vice City. GTA 3 is fine, but it hasn't really aged all that well. The other two are way better.
Been easier to do. It is just a click away. All you have to do is just listen and make better games. All you have to do is just put in the effort to understand and make better games. If we can get away from this self-absorbed games if we can get away from this self-absorbed games industry that we have been infested by for so long, where people want to have their cake and eat it too, where they think that they can just do whatever they want and that players are going to show up and pay for it, I'm sorry, that's just not how this works. I mean, look at the tens of thousands of indie games that don't get purchased every single year. Most of these guys don't even make the $100 licensing fee to get put onto Steam. You have to understand that people are not going to show up for everything. Anyway, hope you guys enjoyed the video. Hopefully people understand why people hate video games or why people are so mad at the games industry right now. Really do hope this message gets through. If you guys...
And guess what? Tonight, hopefully I can get all the work done transferring everything from the old PC to the new one. And when I do, Your boy gonna be gaming, baby. Your boy gonna be gaming. Creasol Theater of Idols is calling my name. Resident Evil 9 next week, which I'm gonna be real. Y'all know me. I'm actually very, very apprehensive about, but I'm still gonna play it. We'll see. And I got a myriad of other games in my backlog. Dude, I have not touched Stellar Blade yet because I've owned it. I've owned it effectively since it came out on Steam. But I want to play it the most optimal way. The most optimal way. And that's on a nice, good, new PC. It's the one, so I'll be playing Stellar Blade finally. Creasol was awful. I disagree, Stranos. Well, I mean, I haven't played it yet, so I don't know. But I disagree with, like, your take. You say it was awful. Everyone else I've spoken to really loves it. It's, like, gothic-themed Bioshock. That's good enough for me. You played the demo, didn't like it, fair enough. I trust your take on anime. I do. I always trust your takes on anime. Or at least I think it's a good discussion to have on anime. I should say I trust your takes. We can have some debates there. But when it comes to games, like the way you think about indie games, I don't know. I can't get a beat on it. Sometimes you're great, and other times I can't fucking understand what you think is awful. Anyway.
Enjoyed this video, like the video, subscribe to the channel, share it with your friends, share it on social media. Definitely share it on social media. Share it on all the medias. Make them know. Let them know. Subscribe to the channel, like the video, comment down below, and I will catch you guys in the next one. Follow me on Twitch, follow me on Twitter. Stay cool, stay righteous, stay safe. Peace.
And there it is, boys. And there it is. Yeah, fuck the industry, dude. Fuck the industry. There's the link. Give the video a like. Creasol was broken because the big anime AI just didn't make sense. It was super poorly done. The sound of it. That was a demo. That was a demo. I don't know that that's the case now, because everyone playing it now seems to be really enjoying themselves. I mean, I would never, that's why I don't play demos. I never judge a game in its finality against a demo. I don't enjoy playing demos. I will play the game when it comes out. If I like the game, great. If I don't, I don't. But demos ain't my thing. I mean, according to everything I've seen, it's absolutely different than the full release. So, but again, I don't know if you ever even played Bioshock. But anyway, that being said, it's 3 p.m. It's a little at 3 p.m. I have somewhere to be at 4. I wanted to get one more video done, but considering how long my reactions take, because I pause so much, I doubt I'd be able to get the video I want to react to done in 27 minutes. So we are going to boogie on out of here. I will see you guys back with the lunch hour tomorrow. Hopefully there will be an actual video tomorrow as well. And if not, you know, we'll see where things go. Let me see who's live if we can get a raid going. Don't go anywhere, crew. There's 73 you here right now. Let me see who's live. We'll get a raid going. We'll make sure that we share that love. We spread that love. Let's see. Who is live right now? You know what? My boy Jazz is live. My boy Jazz is live. In fact, Cinny's going to be on his show next week. So let's give a big Vital Idol raid to my boy Digital Soul Spark. I will see y'all on the flip-flop. Thank you for the donos. Truly appreciated. Means the absolute world to me. I'll see you guys tomorrow. And until next time, it's all here in the Nerdosphere. And this has been Words of Paradise.